Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, gotta fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Hi. My camera is making me look like I'm super low in my chair. I've had all of these technical issues to start my day. But this is Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. I'm here with my co-host, Righteous Reg. How are you?
In the building, it's your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster, Righteous Reg, Media Man. It's Saturday morning, Grapsody podcast. I'm in the building. I hope everybody's having a great start of their December. Mine started very weird here in Oakland, California. As you guys, a lot of you guys, thanks for checking in on me. We're checking in on me earlier this week because I was taking a nap a few days ago. My phone starts buzzing crazy, and it's like, hey, there's a tsunami coming. You are in danger. The message said you are in danger, and I'm like, what do you mean I'm in danger? But I didn't know at the time that it was a tsunami warning. I thought it was an Amber Alert, and I'm like, oh, I hope that child is okay. I'm in bed. I don't know what I could do, so I'm just like, go back to sleep. Start getting all these messages and calls. They're like, are you okay? What's going on? The earthquake. I'm like, well, I don't know what you guys are saying. So yeah, you guys, I'm okay. There was no tsunami. They just warned us. I'm fine, but I appreciate everybody for checking in on me. So yeah, doing fine besides, fearing for my life for like an hour. Philip Lindsey.
Yeah. I don't know. Can you see me? They're saying like the connection is not great.
Oh, it's not. Yeah, it's not great at all.
Because it looks clear.
Yeah, no. Oh, sorry. I never be reading the live chat. I'd be just on the super chat, so I wouldn't know what half of y'all are saying here. Sounds like someone's playing a kazoo. Y'all got some funny bits in here. Maybe I should read the live chat. Hold on a minute, guys. See, I can't read the chat because I'd be laughing. Y'all are stupid. Phil coming broadcasting live from Winamp. Y'all are fools in here.
Bear with me, I'll be back.
Mm-hmm. Phil Lindsey's gonna come back, and I'm just gonna see what y'all are talking about in here. Phil got to do a Wile E. Coyote and hold up signs. Y'all are see, I can't. See, I can't be messing with y'all. That's why I'll be trying to focus in on what we're talking about. Like, there's wrestling to talk about, but I would just be doing bits the whole time if I read the live chat. And that's why I stay away from the live chat. Y'all are some fools. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for showing up. Grapsody, Saturday morning. We got a lot to talk about. Yeah, I was almost dead, you guys. I didn't even know. Like, I was calling on my family and friends being like, leave me alone. I don't know. I don't even know what a tsunami is. I don't know what to do. Everybody's like, go high, get high. I'm like, I am high. They're like, no, get high, like with your body, your car. And I'm like, what do you mean high? Like, I still don't understand what that means. It was a very weird day that day. I felt like the earth is like, yo, you guys, y'all are acting crazy down there. So send the flood. And like, I don't want to be sending the flood. That's crazy. That's crazy as hell. I don't understand what's going on here. Yeah, give me 1 second for this. And that could be a thing. You guys. I got you. I'm listening. I'm watching. Nope. You guys just bear with me. I'm learning to send links. I'm learning to do things in life. This is great, you guys. This is an amazing way to start the show. Yeah, so your Bronson Reed jokes just killing me the whole time. And I'm like, it's funny, but it's not funny when you're in it though. Like when people were making it that day, I'm like, yo, the tsunami's still coming. I don't know what y'all talking about. Like, I don't want any parts of that. So like it's funny afterwards, but in the moment I was like, yo, Bronson Reed, get out of here with that. But it puts everything into perspective because I was talking to someone and I was like, well, shall I grab my stuff? And I'm like, well, what would I grab if I'm taking off from here? Like, I don't really have the thought of what to grab. Like a computer, that's dumb. Like my clothes, that's stupid too. I'm like, it's better to just take off with my body, right? And some cool shoes at least. Oh, sneakers, that's it. Yeah, you guys got it. Gotta grab sneakers. That's the only way that I would be happy if I had nothing. Like, at least I got these sneakers. That's so black of me. But yeah, you guys, double bear with this. We're going to get this thing started right, possibly. I can't do the internet at the same time because, it's hard. But I'm working on it. I am working hard on it. Somebody pull up that when they send the they said when Denise sends me alone that I don't know what to do. I'm like Garth on Wayne's World, and that's me right now. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, Phil's back.
Can you see me? Is it still making?
Can you see me? No, I can't see you. Oh yeah, I can see you.
Okay, can you hear me? Everything's fine?
I can hear you. You're here.
Okay. Sorry, it's been a morning, guess you could tell. Yeah. That's all I've got. Pretty annoyed. But it is what it is. This is Grapsody. Wouldn't be Grapsody sometimes without technical difficulties.
That's what life is.
Yeah. As you can tell, I'm having a lot of issues with this laptop. For some reason, the fan seems like it's making a weird noise that is now buzzing constantly. Yeah. So, this is where we're at.
Life is crazy, ain't it? But yeah, there's a kazoo playing in the background as someone keeps saying. Something's wrong with Philip Lindsey's laptop. So that's what the deal is today. We're just running into all the technical issues in the world. And I don't know why. I don't know why the earth is sending us crazy things. Tsunami warning from me, kazoo in the background of Phil. That's not cool. What's up with that? What did we do to deserve this?
Yeah. The only thing I can do at the moment is try to mute in between talking so you guys don't have to hear this noise constantly like I do. I've tried to deal with it before we got on, but it is what it is. Can't do anything about it. This is where we're at. Wrestling. There's wrestling this week. There's music. There's a bunch of other stuff. I don't know. I don't know either, you guys. That's what
That's what it is. It is what it is. Maybe I could talk more, but I'm high, so I mean, we got to get right to the graps, get right to the things. If that's the case, you feel me? Because what music even came out this week? What other events beyond wrestling happened that inspired y'all this week?
Yeah, Kendrick announced the Grand National Tour will be coming to you. Makes a lot of sense out of the Super Bowl announcement that now he's got a big stadium tour coming up. Exciting.
I'm annoyed because people have been complaining this week about ticket prices. I knew ticket prices were going to be ridiculous off rip just because it's a stadium show. Kendrick is like, when they were announcing off of his last tour, the highest grossing tour of all time and all these crazy numbers, I was like, that's not really going to be a good sign for when he goes back on tour. So when they release the tickets, all of them are crazily priced. It's like, I expected this, but I'm still very disappointed because, like, what is this, man? Like, this isn't what hip hop is supposed to be about. Like, it's supposed to be about these people getting money. It's supposed to be about, shine and glitz and glamour and these big. I want you to be in front of a gazillion people when you're performing. But if the people that love and support you can't afford to get in there and it's a bunch of gentrifiers in there saying the N-word, then what are we really doing here? I don't really understand where the line is. It's just kind of frustrating because, like, I've never seen Kendrick Lamar ever, and it's exactly because of this. Like, I can't afford it. I can't afford a $300 hip-hop ticket. That's just not what life is like at the moment.
Yeah, ticket. You tried to get a ticket? I did not even attempt to get tickets, but he'll be here June 6th, I believe, at Soldier Field. He's got a few shows in LA, SoFi Stadium 2 nights. I think he added another night in SoFi because of a lot of the demand. Surprisingly, added another show in Toronto also because of the demand, which is very, very funny. Like we were talking about on Ask Grapsody, hopefully, please, people don't do stupid things when he comes to Toronto. Please, people, be safe. It's just rap. I don't know.
I wish they would stick to it just being rap. And it's funny and ironic that he had to add a separate show in Toronto, a place where they say, oh, you probably shouldn't go there. Don't come there. I bet Kendrick can't come here anymore. There's a bunch of people saying that when the beef was very heavy. And now it's like, but all these people don't care. Again, it just shows that the people that are listening, the real fans, and the people that are new fans off of this beef and stuff like that, they don't care about that. They heard a good song and they want to go and dance and party, and that's what they're going to do. Shout out to Kendrick and SZA for having such high demand off of this. This is perfect timing for the both of them, and it's going to be an insane tour. And maybe I will get in there. It's going to be at the Oracle Stadium, the Giant Stadium. So, I mean, maybe I'll get a scalp ticket. I don't know. Maybe somebody will gift it to me. I don't know. Maybe I'll be in there at some way, but I'm looking forward to it.
There'll be tickets last minute. You'll be able to StubHub or something. I don't know. You'll figure it out. And again, he'll be on television soon, telling people to cut their TV off and yelling mustard at people.
That's true. That's true.
As always, be sure to send us your super chats. That is the best way to get your chat read online. That is the best way to help move our conversation forward. But you could also send us humper chats at humperchats.com/Fightful.
That's a big factor. Of course, we always appreciate you guys sending in your super chats, your humper chats, the support for Phil and I here on the pod, and you get to participate in the conversation and lead us forward. We're going to start with some super chats here. First one's from Grapple Geekery, who says, I haven't watched an episode of Raw in years, but I've tuned in for the New Day segment just to have my soul destroyed. It was up there with Dean turning on Seth the same night as Roman leukemia news. Yeah, something was in the air as it was happening, and it was just like, I don't like this, but like I do like this at the same time. It's like so many emotions going on at the same time. It's like I hate what this is, but I love what this is going to become. So it was very heavy. But yeah, this is one of the best turns or whatever you would consider this in a long time, Phil.
Yeah, this was one of the big talking points coming out of this week. everybody was trying to wait to see what was going to happen coming into this 10-year anniversary segment. I don't think any of us expected that though, like, because I think most of us, with all of the teases they've been doing, expected Woods to turn on Kofi to turn on Woods. This was going to be an outright split of the New Day, but that is not what we got at all. And I have to say it was really, really well done. I mean, starting the day with the Player Tribune article from Big E to get people in their feels, and then getting the segment itself, I thought that was a great way to use both of those things at the same time.
Yeah, super smart way to kind of connect that, get Big E in people's brains, because everybody was kind of expecting Big E to play a part in this angle anyways. So to make it even more in people's mind before the show that Big E's around, he's talking, he's doing things, was a great idea. And I love we'll get into it fully here very soon. Wu Young says, didn't have Schulz versus O'Shea Jr. on my bingo card. Also, I may have missed, but what caused the current round of AEW is in the mud combos? I mean, with the AEWs and the mud combos, we'll, of course, get into AEW, but I assume people are talking about like attendance and ratings because that's what they do. But like the wrestling's on fire. I don't even know why. I don't think that plays a part on it.
The product is good. I think what it is ticket sales, ratings talk. Then we got that clip of Bischoff this week, and this thing happens every time anybody says anything very critical about AEW. Then it feels like all the fans have to defend the product. You don't. It's all right, and it turns into the discourse thing of every time of, oh, it's not that bad, and then you have all these people picking out clips from this place or that place talking about what's wrong with the product. And there's no denying that the product is cold, but as usual, you don't have to sit and argue with people that don't like it. It's fine.
Right. Yeah, no, that most of their minds are not going to be changed. And I think letting the product speak for itself is where AEW kind of shines. If people are critiquing what's going on and kind of sending them feedback and they're getting it in real time on social media and they're adjusting or not adjusting or doing whatever, that's the way to do it. Like fighting with incels online about why you prefer something is not going to help because they don't care. Eric Bischoff doesn't care. He just wants to call you a scumbag nerd for some reason.
That clip and the timing of the headline the other day was very funny, though. I thought that was hilarious. But I don't know. A lot of stuff ain't that deep, man. I don't know. I know the Nick Nemeth thing came out as well. This week.
Right.
That was reported by Fightful Select, where Sean reported the timeline of Nick Nemeth complaining to management and legal about some issues with CM Punk, which we kind of knew because of the collision thing of him being sent home. But it turns out there was more to this, and there's a very extensive report about it on Fightful Select. Ryan Nemeth, if I said Nick Nemeth, guys. Two Nemeths, not the Nick Nemeth that is on TNA as current champion. Ryan Nemeth.
Two Nemeths.
That was on BT at one point. But yeah, it's an interesting report. It's a lot to take away from it. It seems like some more of our guy Chicago Phil causing some problems over there. Ryan says that he spoke to management about it. He spoke to legal about it, and they didn't immediately do anything about it. Then there is a bit in there where they seem like he's insinuating that they tried to get him to go out there and cut a promo on Punk, which, if this guy's complaining to you that this thing is happening backstage that he's uncomfortable with, probably not the best choice to have him go out there and probably antagonize this guy. That's an odd thing to try to get him to do, which, again, there's a lot to take away from this. The thing I immediately thought was, well, isn't this what Punk tried to say, that it wasn't just him doing things, that there were people that were doing things to try to get him to react as well? And even at some point, Ryan's saying he's not totally mad at Punk. He's upset at the situation. He's upset that he tried to tell people that this was going on and they didn't do anything to help him. And then he feels like he was silently fired, quote unquote. Yeah, I'm not doing this any justice. You should read the actual report on Fightful Select. $5, very extensive report, very interesting stuff.
Yeah, you definitely want to get in deep into there to get the full story. But yeah, that was part of, I think, what Punk was saying was he was being antagonized, and that's why he was responding in the way that he was. And people didn't really understand that part. They're just like, oh, here's Punk being Punk again. And like, he's like, no, there's management, backstage, wrestlers, like everybody's attacking me. And probably people were like, well, why are you saying that? What's going on? And so like you continuously hear stories like this, and you're like, well, damn, the bro kind of was onto something. And I think people dismiss it. And it feels like AEW might have dismissed it too, because it's Ryan Nemeth of being like, Ryan, get out of here. Like, what do you want from us? And like, it's wrestling also plays a role. So I'm sure like him going back there being like, hey, I'm being bullied. And they're like, ah, shut up, dude. Like, deal with it is part of it, you know?
Yeah. If this is the HR issue, that's two different things. I've seen people that made it seem like Ryan is coming at Tony, and I don't think that that's what he's trying to say. I think that he's trying to say that this was a multifaceted issue, and he just wanted to be dealt with. And I'm not sure by the end of it what he actually wanted as restitution. At some point, he was talking about how they settled with him and they were going to give him the wages he owed, and then that deal was taken away. So yeah, I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much. And then that coupled in with the FE stuff, and then Matt Cardona's now the ROH main event. And I'm like, whoa, you guys, like there's a lot of connections here. And as Phil Lindsey, my partner, would say, let's just get back to the Graps, man. I can't, it's too much, man. Like, I don't want to be involved in all this. Take us out the group chat, homies.
I forgot about that part. There was the FE drama, the Ricky stuff as well, the GCW stuff. Unfortunately, this is again another situation for AEW where it's so much backstage drama that people are tired of. Just want to focus on the wrestling, man. Like, I don't want to hear about this stuff.
I can't hear about it anymore, especially when like there's the Continental Classic. I just saw Ricochet and Commander tear the house down on Rampage. That's what we should be looking at. That's what we should be talking about. But instead, we're talking about CM Punk still. Phil, what the hell's going on here?
There no more. He's somewhere else, kissing babies and shaking hands, and apparently trying to be on his best behavior. But we're still somehow talking about his time with the company.
Help, you guys. I need help. And yeah, Schulz and O'Shea Jackson. Schulz is out there talking crazy. Nobody's really surprised about that. O'Shea Jackson's LA, so he's gonna, of course, be in there talking his stuff. But this isn't really surprising that Andrew Schulz is bringing this type of energy.
Yeah, right. So this all started off of GNX as well. There was seemingly a jab at Schulz on the album. Don't let white comedians talk about black women ever. And hit Hurt Dog Holler, you know? Schulz ran out and took offense to this because most people have assumed it's about him.
Yep.
He then made a very, very weird joke about potentially trying to grape Kendrick. I don't know why he thought that was the move to make. Very, very strange. Not funny at all. And then he went full Bill O'Reilly here with, oh, now we care about women in hip hop. Now we care about the safety of women, which big culture vulture vibes. I hated everything about that clip. But we've seen people like O'Shea responding to it. Rosenberg has given several responses to it. Rosenberg is in such an interesting situation because he is a white guy in this space, and he's a credible commentator on rap. He works at one of the biggest stations in this thing. He's tenured over 10 years at Hot 97. And so I think a lot of times he feels like, I don't want people to think like I'm just a visitor in this thing. Like, I am really a hip hop fan. I really care about this culture. So when somebody like Schulz comes along, it makes it harder for people like me because you're out here doing culture vulture things, and I've had to dodge these kind of things all the time as a white guy in the space. And so I personally just hate everything about it. And he was right on all accounts about what he was saying about Schulz. And the O'Shea thing is interesting. At one point, he tried to tell him, oh, look up No Vaseline, which tell me you don't know what No Vaseline was about without telling me you don't know it's about Schulz. But again, culture vulture vibes.
Yep, he doesn't get it and he'll never understand. That's why he doesn't have a filter on what he can say and where he thinks and what he thinks of hip hop. It comes out in his little rhetoric. It's super funny with Rosenberg though, because he's fought so hard to dodge these allegations. And I can't think of any moments where I'm like, yeah, Pete was being a culture vulture. Like, he's really about this game. Like, he countlessly fights for hours to improve hip hop and to put shine on it. So like, I feel like when he hears culture vultures or white, people in the space, like, it's like when I hear men are trash, like, I'm like, oh, they're not talking about me though. Like, they're talking about just the space in general. It's like, he's not included when they talk about that because he's carved his space and he's made a lane for himself that I think that he deserves. Andrew Schulz though sucks. That's just pretty much it, I think.
I've thought this guy sucked for a while. I was watching this clip a long time ago about him talking about Joe Budden. And listen, Joe, very divisive guy. A lot of things that you can lob at him. A lot of valid criticisms about Joe. But there was a tone to it that I just didn't like. And there was something about it that didn't sit well with me even then. So watching everything he's done since then, this is just like, yeah, I've never liked this guy. I just don't.
There's always tone, and like sometimes I watch clips with him and Charlemagne, and like he'll make jokes on Charlemagne, and it's always the tone. I'm like, I don't really. And Charlemagne just kiki and laughing with it, and I'm like, this is a big part of the problem because he's like, I got a black friend. It's Charlemagne too. You know what I mean? And that doesn't help.
Listen, let this be a lesson, people. Don't think you got this pass, and don't think because I got this other person standing next to me laughing at all my jokes. Don't let that guy get you in trouble, man. Don't let that supposed pass get you in trouble, man.
Charlemagne is not going to be there when they pull up on him. You know what I mean? Like, Charlemagne's, we've seen videos of somebody pulling up on Charlemagne, and he was out of there.
I still think one of the funniest times that's happened is when he's like joking on Beanie Siegel, and Beanie Siegel immediately gets serious. Like, nah, don't play with me. Play with somebody else.
There's a super cut on YouTube you can watch of just people doing that to Charlemagne. It's like Fredro Starr, Beanie Siegel, Birdman. Like, all of them are like, no, this ain't a game, dog. Like, and all of them have the same energy of like, this is not a joke. This is real.
Of course, the Birdman one became a whole craze at one point. What a time period. One of the greatest Breakfast Club moments ever of Birdman going up there and pressing those guys and leaving.
With some respect on my name became a cultural phenomenon, dog. He changed the game. Birdman, daddy, I fly in any weather. Appreciate you, Woo Young. That's great super chat. Denise South say no, go ahead.
Reminds me of friend of the show, Emilio Sparks, produces the Hoots podcast. If you don't know who the Hoots are, of course, Machine Gun and Luke Gallows, he produced their podcast, and they tell a story on there about Jeezy. It is so hilarious. If you have not seen his IG, at one point, Carl Anderson went to Jeezy concert. He takes a picture of him and his wife at this concert. And so I had to read this thing more than once when I first saw it. I was like, at the Jeezy concert? Okay. But he tells the story about how this came about because they were on an airplane and this guy is behind him and he's like trying to talk to this woman behind him. He's telling her he's a rapper. And so Gallows is like, yeah, this guy behind us keeps going on and on about he's a rapper. He's some Jeezy guy. I don't know. And so they think that this is like some guy just trying to like claim he was a rapper, the pickup line. Turns out this is the real Jeezy sitting behind him. His entourage is like hanging around him. And so all these people are walking up to them trying to take pictures because they're wrestlers out in the open. And one of the guys from Jeezy's entourage comes to take a picture with them. And that's when they like Googled it, like, oh man, this is a real Jeezy. And they go and like meet some of the people over there. And they end up getting invited to a Jeezy concert. So that's how Machine Gun Carl Anderson ended up there. And very, very funny listening to them talk about it. At one point, he's talking about Gallows not knowing much about rap. And what made me think of this is Gallows does this very hilarious, what happened to that boy? I know some rap, see?
There's so many layers to that story. Gallows Anderson being at the Jeezy concert with his Asian wife. The connections here are just like, dog, what is happening?
Very, very, very funny. I got a shout out on this episode as well, which was very funny. Their show is very funny because it's not really them talking about wrestling like you'd expect most wrestlers to do. Mm-hmm. It's them talking about random stuff like ghost stories and all these other things. Very funny podcast. Yeah, check that out. Of course, friend of the show. Also, just put up an interview with Marina Shafir, Roderick Strong, doing pretty well. I helped him put together the creator for that. Go figure. I've made all of these jokes about other people being credit boys, and I am on this podcast right now. Like, hey, I helped did that. So I don't know.
I thought you're just gonna throw it in and just keep going with it, but now you got to let them know. I feel you, Phil. I feel you.
Yeah, so check that interview out. He does very different interviews. I love what he does with the jiu-jitsu and the yoga stuff on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, shout out to the homie Emilio. I like that a lot of his interviews that he's doing are in these spaces, and a lot of it's focusing on mental health and calming and meditating, and it's really a dope way to kind of go about being in this space. Emilio is just such a funny, brilliant mind to think of these things of like letting Marina choke him out, you know? Not letting, but getting choked out by Marina.
Yeah, I was just talking to him because I talk to him all the time, and it's now that season where Christmas movies are on all the time. So he's now explaining to me like Christmas movies he watches all the time. I don't think most people would guess some of the Christmas movies that he's watching. I told him before Christmas he had to come on and give you guys his list of Christmas movies that he watches every year, because I think it'll surprise a lot of people when you see him and he's naming these lists. They do not fit what you think he's watching at Christmas at all.
I don't know why I've been thinking about, I don't know if we talked about this on Ask Grapsody or we were just talking about him being upset about you using jarred tomato sauce. I've been thinking about that all week and just laughing really hard of him being upset at you.
Nah, he was like, nah, you using jar sauce? Like, nah, you could just make a sauce. And I'm just like, Emilio, I'm not Italian. I don't know how to make tomato sauce. He just goes, I'll teach you how to make it. Hey, that sounds great, but in the meantime, you're getting this Prego, bro. You're getting this ragu. I'm sorry, bro. You don't have to eat it. This is what I'm eating in my house. I know what you guys do differently, but I don't know how to make sauce, bro.
That's not in the Black wheelhouse. We never were the ones that make the sauce from scratch. You get you a couple of jars of them Prego or that ragu up out of there, and we're going to go to work. Like, that's not in our wheelhouse. We'd love to have it in our wheelhouse, though. If you just show me. All right, we're going to continue on with some super chat, you guys. Denise Salcedo says, have a great show, guys. Appreciate you, Denise, for almost coming in here and saving me. I hope that you had a good Busted Open Radio. You guys check out Denise. She's on very early here on the weekends, Busted Open Radio from 6 to 9. And I'm sure she's going to be on an NXT watch along or something later today. So check that out.
Yeah, I'm sure she's going to be doing something. She's always on a screen in front of you. Microphone, check 1 2, what have you not. Yeah, shout out to Denise.
What have you and what that is. Hey, what's over there says the YN Bloodline out here crashing out over a 1 loss, and Cody out here acknowledging Stardust. What is happening?
Yeah, I died laughing at the beginning of SmackDown this week of just like the smallest thing ticking those guys off. Jacob jumping a guy that did nothing, didn't do anything wrong. He
I
just jumped out of
mean,
nowhere and pulled his hoodie off. It's like, whoa! He did whatever that
yeah.
noise he made at him. I was like, what? All he did was like, hold on, guys, take one person at a time coming through the security gate. Like,
Nah, next to me thinking all week about Emilio and being mad at Phil for jar sauce is Jacob doing the shimmy after getting up in the WarGames match. That shit was so funny.
Jacob Fatu is one of the greatest wrestlers on television right now.
Fact.
I could not have imagined that he would do this well. I knew he would do well in terms of the wrestling stuff. I knew
Right.
you give this guy a microphone, but he hasn't even scratched the surface on what I think he's really great at as a character. And
Right.
he's endeared himself by doing all of these bits with the prayer hands, the I love you solo. They've got a phenomenal pickup in this guy. I would say he's possibly their biggest signing, their best signing this year. Like, that
Yeah.
might sound like hyperbole, but he's been so entertaining since he came in.
Yeah, no, I feel you 100%, Phil. I knew that he's such a great wrestler. We knew he was gonna come in and do that and do the moonsaults and do all the things to blow people's minds. But as a character, I was worried that they were gonna maybe make him into the like Umaga type that doesn't talk. He just goes in there and blah blah blah, which he does, but he also has his character and like it feels authentically him, and that changes so much. And like every little moment that he takes, he knocks it out of the park every single time. He's such a dynamic character to their show. And like I love how like even in commentary they say these things too. They like, yo, Jacob Fatu, I know we're supposed to be like bloodline crazy, but this guy is next up. And like I'm just so excited about him. He's like so Bay Area. He's just it's amazing to see. Brian Anthony Rivers says obligatory Andrew Schulz sucks post.
Yeah, he does indeed suck.
He's the worst. One of the worst of all time.
I see Vin Forte is in our chat as well, telling me that I should not eat jar sauce as well. Shout out to Vin. I saw you call me last night, buddy. Was busy, but I will call you back. My bad.
Shout out to Vin. Tenruza says Kendrick announcing a second Toronto show is crazy. I'm expecting if he does an Australia, New Zealand tour, he will do a bigger, better than the boy HT show. Get here now.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this tour looks like. His last tour during the Mr. Morale and Big Steppers rollout did very, very well. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes for him.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how he does the set list now with such a deep catalog and the new additions and how that plays along. And will he play Not Like Us 7 times at the show? Like there's so many interesting bits that are going to go into this. How's Not Like Us going to go off in Toronto? Like there's so many crazy things that are attached to this that things are going to start again maybe when he gets in this tour. Or what do you feel?
He's definitely going to do Not Like Us on this tour. I don't think he's going to do the full show on a Super Bowl, but he's going to do that on this tour. And I immediately just thought about that clip of Pusha T on that stage and the guys tried to throw the water and stuff on him.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick and his entourage are not Pusha T. And that's
different.
I hope that people go
different.
to these shows and chill out. Don't go to these shows trying to start stuff.
Like Pusha's in there with like his wife and like his kids. He's like a nice family man. Kendrick's in there with some killers and dealers. They're not gonna just be like, hey, stop. They're about to be in there.
Yeah, which that is a hilarious clip if you have not seen it of him. Like they throw the stuff on him and he just like it's basically like the Shawn Michaels. He just shakes it off and keeps performing. Right. He does not care at all. He's like, yo, you think this is gonna get me up out of here? I'm not going. But yeah, I've been listening to GNX a lot this week, man. TV off still goes very hard.
So
man.
hard. Every time
all I ever wanted was a black Grand National. Fuck being rational. Give them what they asked for.
Mm-hmm. It's not enough.
Great record. Shout out to Grapsody as well. Grapsody freestyled over it this week when she was on Sway. People don't give her flowers enough. Great rapper.
Rhapsody is so slept on, it makes my stomach hurt. Like when it comes to raps, like doing this for reals, there's not a lot of people better on earth, man or woman, than Rhapsody. And I'm glad that she went off on this. Leonard Aarons III says, when I was growing up, I used to think my parents were on one when they said their music was better. After this stunt with Lawsuit Aubrey, I get it now. What happened to the game I love? Yeah, that's just eventually we're going to become that generation. We become those people of like, our music was better. I was we were talking about Spotify raps and Apple Music rap this week, and like all mine's is just like music from 2001, 2002. It's like just old stuff. And I'm like, not because I think my stuff is better. It's just because like, I don't know, my brain's wired to be attached to those memories and the things like that are with these albums.
Yeah. I try not to be that guy because I listen to a bunch of different music. So I try not to be that guy when younger folks like, oh, y'all music is trash. But some of this stuff, I am just not with it at all.
I don't want to be an old head, but then I hear it and I'm like, this shit, what is this? And like, you know, I like I like real rap and stuff. And so a lot of the times it's not that. And the biggest rapper in the world is getting his lawyers. I feel you, Leonard Aarons III. What happened to the game I love? Jay Stone says, got my K-Dot tickets for May 9th at MetLife in Jersey. Damn, shouts. A birthday gift to myself, and I'm hype. Who y'all think Hunter raids NXT for with this new transfer portal?
Do we know if it's anybody from NXT? For context for people,
yes.
There's been this transfer thing that was announced last night during SmackDown because Chad Gable and American Made, I was about to say something else that would make them sound crazy. Yeah. Glad that I did not make that mistake. Not trying to make my guy Chad Gable look like he's out here representing the wrong kind of people. But
fine line.
Fine line when you do these very patriotic gimmicks. But I really enjoyed Chad Gable last night in the stuff with Cody. I was like, maybe he do need to be over there on SmackDown doing something different, because it kind of feels like, especially right after he turned heel and started doing the Wyatt stuff, they kind of lost where Chad Gable was, and he lost a lot of momentum he had at the beginning of this year. I don't know what this whole transfer portal thing is. It feels like a variation of wildcard rule to justify moving people around. You've got the Netflix thing coming up. Maybe they just want to refresh the rosters.
Just say
I don't know how that's going to affect NXT. I have to assume coming out of Deadline and coming into WrestleMania season, there's eventually going to be call-ups. I'm just not sure how soon.
WWE's so funny because they could do bits like this of like, actually, we're just doing this. We're doing a transfer thing, or like just for this week, they could swap, or like just do it. Like, hey, we're getting to Netflix. SmackDown just debuted very recently on USA. We're going to switch these rosters up. Like, it's not going to be a full draft, but we're going to have some people that are maybe stuck in a loop over here, moving them over here. I like that they teased a bit with Nick Aldis and Dom, because like, if anybody in the world needs a refresh, like Judgment Day and the people involved in that, if they could get some pieces moved around over to SmackDown and maybe start cooking over here, I think that would do that group justice a lot. So yeah, if they're doing bits like this, getting Chad Gable, who at the beginning of the year, we were talking about this guy being like, you know, in world title contention, and like he's fell so far from that like maybe he needs a change like this to help him.
Yeah, I'm at this point split Judgment Day up. It's time.
Like,
it's time. It's the same thing over and over again. Mm-hmm. I'm ready for Finn Balor to do something different.
When Finn came out to screw Damian Priest, I was like, we can't still be doing this, you guys. What's happening here?
Yeah, the beatdown segment afterwards was very funny, because for some reason Finn was yelling, "You thought I forgot? I never forget. Finn Balor never forgets."
It's like, we know you didn't forget, Finn. We wish you would forget. Like, we want you to get over it, but you won't get over it. Y'all are still beefing, dog. Like, this can't be happening. Like, it's been for like 2 straight years of just like them telling this same Judgment Day story of like, this person's in, this person's out. We want you to be in, this person's out. It's like, all right, you guys, like, we got to do something else. I got excited when Finn was challenging Gunther. So it's like they're trying to do something, but they got to get on it now.
Yeah. I don't know. I agree, Margie. Mello, I think, would do much better on Raw. I like the idea of him being over there, being in the hunt for the Intercontinental title.
Mm-hmm.
He's already got some history with Bron. I think there's a lot they could do over there with him.
He was planting some seeds last night too, trying to talk some shit to get some buzz going. I think with moving to Netflix too, Mello over there feels like a much better move. I think they should definitely look into that. The homie Rick Young says, "Yo, Rampage went hard, right?" Yeah, I mean, like, I think a lot of people were talking about it last night about like this being one of the best Rampages ever, and with them announcing a couple of weeks ago that this is the end essentially for the Rampage brand, I think going out with a bang and having something like this is a great way to try to kind of pay tribute to the show. It's so crazy where Rampage began, Phil, and the buzz and what that show was into what it became.
Yeah, Rampage started very hot. Got the Christian title win, CM Punk's debut. That first few months or so of Rampage, it was hot, and then it slowly fizzled out. Yeah, it was a very great episode of Rampage, Continental Classic. It has been such a great pickup for the brand because it's just matches. I know some people don't want just matches, but the tournament has been great for the brand. It always has been since last year, but yeah, Rampage was very, very good. So wait a minute, I did not see this. Rampage is officially going away?
Rampage is officially going away. I think the they said the Hammerstein show, maybe one of the shows at the beginning or at the end of the beginning of the year is it for Rampage, and they're out of here.
Yeah, that makes sense because, of course, Collision and Dynamite will be simulcasting on HBO Max in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And then we've got the pending rumor about Shockwave. So maybe Shockwave is going to take Rampage's spot. We still don't know what Shockwave will be. So that makes sense.
And we also have pending Ring of Honor things that also could play a role in this Rampage stuff. So I think that Denise and I talked about it on the post show this week. The end of the year and the starting the simulcast on Max, very important moments for AEW because they're going to have a lot of new eyes on the product, a lot of just browsing Max and seeing your brand. Like if somebody clicks on a live AEW when it's on Dynamite and they're just browsing the app, what do you want to see presented there? Like what are going to get new fans to stay? And like, I'm just so intrigued about how they're going to be moving forward these next couple months.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunate what the perception of Rampage ended up being, but it was going to be tough to keep it going in that time slot. I personally liked it initially because it was just an easy hour of wrestling, but the issue is that a lot of times what happened on it ended up being inconsequential. But,
right.
You know, shout out to Harley Cameron, who has been MVP of Rampage for the last few weeks. She's gotten the best use out of that show probably more than anybody recently.
Right. Yeah, I think that when it became there's a couple of months where it was like squash matches and angles and things that weren't really connected to Dynamite. So it just felt like a wrestling show. And if it isn't like the super most mind-blowing wrestler versus wrestler match, a lot of people aren't going to stick around. You got to have something to connect these people. But I feel like there should be a show like Rampage still represented because you need those shows. You need just like, oh, it's just two people having a match. It's just a couple of wrestlers in there wrestling just for the love of the game. And I think in the last couple 6-7 months, I think Rampage has gotten to that place where they've had some important matches and they had some things that connected the shows together. So it's gotten to a better place, but it's, Friday night, 10 p.m. It's 7 over here. right after SmackDown. It's a hard sell for a wrestling fan, you know?
Yeah, I totally get that as well. But excited to have both on Max. I think that's gonna help a lot of people, especially people that are cord cutters. So
Me. The AEW going to Max and Raw going to Netflix is like the greatest things that ever happened. I'm so happy that we're finally making this transition to streaming services, because like y'all been on TNT and USA and all these places that like I don't got cable, dog. Like I got to figure out alternate ways to watch your shows, and I want to watch and support, so make it easy for me. And they're finally making it easy for me. Like January is so exciting. Every time I hear the Raw date though, Phil, does it still like get you a little bit uneasy?
yeah, it's gonna.
They're like January 6th.
Yeah, it's gonna take us a while to take back that date because yeah. And when you hear January 6th, we've all got PTSD with that. So
Right.
yeah, it's a little bit of uneasiness every time you hear anybody just yelling January 6th.
And I'm like, you guys are advertising this, but it sounds crazy that y'all are screaming that it's happening on January 6th to me. I'm like, are you sure? Like, you don't want to do Raw like on the 7th, maybe this year, the 5th, like, or just don't say the date. Like, we know it's on Monday. It's Raw. The first Monday of January. It just sounds so crazy.
Yeah.
Van Twinblade says Kofi going mega heel, posting a pic of himself playing the white boy version of Feeling Good. I thought Buble was illegal.
Yeah, I think that's part of what I've been the most excited about this week. After that is Kofi Kingston as heel again, because he can be very, very obnoxious. He is good at using the internet for these things. Great trash talker.
Yes.
If you have not seen any of his stuff outside of wrestling, and I mean, even that brief period where they were heels is New Day. Yeah, very excited to see what Kofi does with this.
Remember when he went on the country music rant, and that was like a part of, they were like, Kofi's such a heel. And he was just like, nah, this is just how I am. This is real. I'm not doing like a wrestling bit right now. That shit's trash. That's one of my favorite Kofi bits. Denise Salcedo, our homie, says it's kind of a YouTube trend right now to hate on AEW. Crying emoji, enjoy what you want. In all caps, she's yelling at you guys.
The other thing with this AEW thing is it's not really just an AEW thing. It's across the board. A lot of negative content does very well. We can sit on here and talk about how much we like something constantly, but it'll always be some clip of us yelling we don't like something or whatever else that takes off for some reason. I don't know. People care more about negative content for some reason, and that's why I keep thinking every time this ends up on my timeline, because AEW fans are arguing with people, you can just not engage with it. It's cool.
That is so funny that you say that, Phil. Sometimes we'll be on here for 4 straight hours saying positive things, and they'll take a 1-minute negative clip, and that'll be the whole thing. Like, wait a sec, but what about the other 3 hours and 59 minutes that we're talking positively? Or what about the other 3 years that we talk positively? Why is this one thing the thing that they stick to? And it's just because like that negativity shit, and people want that leads to more debates. Negativity always leads to more debates, and people just want to have their say in it. Leave me out of it though.
Yeah.
Tenruza says, without AEW, I wouldn't watch any Western wrestling.
Yeah. Alternatives are a good thing, man.
Yeah, it's only working for everybody, wrestlers, people involved, that there's an alternative, that there's many alternatives. Tenruz also says, Punk too busy with that blood money now. It's okay.
Yeah. I still think it's hilarious that as soon as that Saudi show came around, I gotta go heal from this Hell in a Cell match. I'll see you guys later.
These injuries, man, they got boggling me down. My physical therapist says I should probably pull up. No, I'm with you though, like, because like people are just gonna go right to that Miz tweet as soon as they announce that he's on the show. Hassan Butler says, why celebs can't just accept, hey, I'm wrong, I can learn and grow from this, but nah, they just dig deeper. I don't know. There's some celebrities are on the I was wrong, I'm learning, I'm moving forward, but most of them are like, no, you're wrong, and why are you mad at my opinion? Like, you don't have to be here.
Yeah. If this is if this is a response to that Schulz thing, loosely can call this guy a celebrity, but I feel you.
I mean,
That sounds like wild hate, but oh well, fuck, dude. Sorry.
I don't know.
Not sorry.
I don't know where the game is now. This is funny because I was recently thinking about Kai Cenat. I think we talked a little bit about Kai Cenat and how like he's a part of people's rollouts. Like rappers go on his show like it's the Tonight Show now. Like he's the new that guy. Like they don't care about Jimmy Fallon. They're like, dude, I want to go on Kai Cenat's show. And it's just funny how this is all changed. Like Kai Cenat, I wouldn't say he's a celebrity, but people would be mad at me saying that.
Game is different. I Show Speed was just on Shannon's podcast,
right?
Interview. Just different times, man. I still just don't get the streamer thing. I don't really get why I Show Speed and Kai Cenat are famous, but I guess I'm old.
That's I mean, it's funny because we're streaming while talking about this, but it like feels different though. You know, we're like, nah, our thing is different though. Nah, they tripping. But them boys are over there.
They tripping?
Money, dog. Money. They tripping.
Oh, they get into the bag over there, bro. Good for them.
Good for them. Young black man changing the perception of what a black successful person is doing. And like if you're opening up new lanes, I'm with you. Like, so maybe they are celebrities. I take everything back. C. Romero says, sup fellas, quick question, Reg. On Denise's channel, I hear people ask you about Veronica from the challenge. What's the bit? I watched the challenge too. Oh, there's on Ask Grapsody, the homie has a name, current Veronica is not good. And there was a bit, someone was asking me about the challenge and they were like, who are some of your favorite challenge women? I was like, current Veronica. And people were like, whoa, she's like not the same as she used to. And I'm like, I think current Veronica is better than the best Veronica. And people thought that was a very controversial take, but like if you knew the type of women that I'd like, you wouldn't be surprised at all. So shout out to the challenge. I'm caught up on the challenge too. No one asked about it on Ask Grapsody, so I guess next time. Tenruza says, as a white guy who has interest in the culture space, I know where to stand and I come with respect. I will always be learning. Love to the culture.
Yeah, man. Sometimes it's all right to say, I don't understand this. This isn't my conversation to be in. But to make jokes on black women in this space and then double down and then attempt to make this commentary about how disrespectful hip hop has been to women on top of it. It's just egregious all around. It's crazy.
To try to flip it and be like, but you guys do this all like dog.
And to say that about Kendrick, like Kendrick is like some misogynistic rapper. Like, come on, dude.
That's such a early 90s, this hip hop shit's gonna die type of way to go about this.
I ain't like it. That mustache, the look on his face, his haircut and everything. It felt very much like, what about black on black crime? Like, bro, shut the fuck up, man.
Exactly. That's exactly what it feels like. Oh, you guys do this. Like, why are you attacking me? You should be attacking each other. And it's like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
What? This is what happens when you open the door and you don't gatekeep. If we would gatekeep, Doug, still every time that I see some celebrity that I like, a rapper or actor, go sit down with Vlad, it turns my stomach, Phil. It hurts my feelings. Like they must be giving up a big bag or something, but like these people really be sitting down, chopping it up. Tony Yayo will go have a 5-hour conversation with him. It's like, what is this?
Yeah, Vlad is Vlad's another one. Not a big fan.
And he has that energy of like, you're lucky that I'm here. Like, and it's like, no, dog, like you're lucky to have a space in this. And he uses it as like, I hate him. I hate him so much. He's probably my least favorite white hip hop commentator for sure. By far.
Yeah. More Rosenbergs out there that actually care about the culture and are actually here because they love hip hop and they're not trying to catch a lick.
And like if Rosenberg got fired from Hot 97 tomorrow and all his jobs, he still would love hip hop. It's not because he has a job. Like that shit is a bonus to him loving hip hop. Van Twinblade said, Phil, have you watched Tokyo Godfathers? It's in my favorite Christmas movie. 3 homeless people run away, old man, trans woman, find a kid in the trash, and travel across Tokyo to a hospital.
I have never heard of this guy. Man, I have no idea what you're talking about, but sounds
as I was reading it, I was like, this sounds like a lot's going on.
That's so, what a synopsis. I've never heard of this movie, buddy, but that's crazy.
Shout out to Van Twinblade, always recommending some good stuff. Tenruz also said need Rick Ross on stage with K-Dot on this tour.
White boy.
I'm thinking of all the guest appearances in this is gonna be an event, Philip Lindsey. Like every night is gonna be, we're gonna be on our phones seeing some crazy clips. Like every night is gonna be a fucking event.
Yeah, I definitely think we're gonna see DeRozan on that stage. Just given some of the other stuff this year, definitely think it'll happen.
I would have a basketball court on stage, honestly, if I was Kendrick Lamar, just for DeRozan to come on and dunk. You know? Anytime that he wants, or any other player that's featured here. Those young guys, I've noticed the young NBA players are all on Kendrick's side, though. There's like on Drake's side, there's a generation of like our kind of generation, the generation right under us, but like the fresh rookies, they're all like, we care about Drake. We don't care about that Kendrick shit. Like, we're not trying to hear none of this.
No, of course. The younger people, that doesn't surprise me because they like the party music and whatever else. Like, I get it.
I totally get it. I was super obnoxious when I was younger. I was like, hip hop. You guys like Nelly? It ain't about Nelly. It's about Mos Def and Common, like the Roots. Like, I was pretty obnoxious. Sometimes I go think about like, I used to ruin people's good times, being like, turn this shit off, turn on some real hip hop, and like, don't be that person.
You're one of those real hip hop guys.
I was a real hip hop debating in the corner while everybody's having a good time about like, no, you don't like Tribe Called Quest? I can't believe that you like fucking D4L or whatever was hot at the moment, you know? Yeah, I was one of those
This
guys.
Laffy Taffy record? That's
I was a ringtone rap. You know how we used to get down on ringtone rap. I was one of those guys. I hate that I was, you know, I like, as I'm an adult, I'm like what you like. You can like anything. But back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot hoes all on me. Hey, what's over there says, if Kendrick wants to be super petty for the Toronto show, he would play Meet the Grams and bring out Drake's alleged daughter. No, I don't know if you want.
Careful.
Yeah.
Careful.
There's a very fine line I think he should walk, considering what we talked about with the Pusha stuff, and considering that Drake isn't going to be out there in the crowd with tomatoes and a can of paint to throw at this guy. It's people that represent Drake or people that want to represent Drake that you have to think about and that you have to look out for, like people that look unsuspecting that think they're OVO trying to catch a big break.
Yeah. I don't see Kendrick doing those kind of antics either. I mean, he's made his point with the records. He don't need to go that far trying to bring the girl out. Like, that's not something he should do.
I think we're kind of past that phase of the battle too, of like shock value. We're doing this like, because he already did it. He did it. Yeah, it's over.
He did it. He won. It's over.
Just playing not like us is like, I did this. You're dead.
The tour is the victory lap. The getting a Super Bowl and all the rest of this stuff, like, that's the victory lap.
The Super Bowl, dog. I would wear a jersey. I mean, if he could do some petty things like wear a football jersey every single night at the tour, like there's a couple jabs he could throw in there, but nothing like, here's the girl that you blah blah blah, or here's the woman, or here's your old partner that you said screwed you. Like, that's not really in Kendrick's wheelhouse. Meet Normus says, what's good, fellas? Not my Wizards. They haven't won since before Halloween. That's a long time.
The immediate response to his own question is hilarious. Not my Wizards, though.
I couldn't even get through the super chat. They haven't won since before Halloween. We damn near at Christmas. I'm thankful wrestling is on every day. Jeez Louise. Meet Normus. I feel for you, brother. That sounds like some torture. They haven't won since before Halloween. People's costumes are put away. We've already had another holiday since then. Like, it's been a long time.
Yeah, Wizards, rough. But yeah, hopefully they're gonna have a good draft pick next year. They're gonna, yeah,
Next year.
yeah. I don't know. Hopefully, you guys have a good offseason and this gets better for you, buddy. The Bulls aren't much better, but they are winning some games here and there. Io had a triple-double the other night. Shout out to him. Illini, somebody told me I have it on good, got it from a good source that's one of Tony Khan's favorite basketball players because he's an Illini alum. Not a Bulls fan, unfortunately, guys.
Tough one. Yeah, my team has been hit or miss. Like sometimes they play like the Warriors are gonna win the championship, and then sometimes they play like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what are y'all doing out here? I don't really know what's happening. So like some days I'm up, I'm like, oh yeah, we won another championship, and then some days I'm like, turn this shit off.
You see what he tried to do to you, Meat Enormous. Well, I can feel your pain too with my team that has won 4 championships within the past decade, and we have Steph Curry, and they're still very entertaining to watch.
You guys, look, we're the same. My team loses sometimes too. Listen, Meat Enormous, I feel you. I'm sorry. At least like Jordan played for you guys one time, you know? You could have that, right? That's the thing. Like people
That
talk
was like-
fondly about that.
Yeah, that was like what, 20 years ago?
Listen, you can reminisce, Phil. You can ride the waves of Jordan forever. Like, you know what I mean? Like the Bulls could be terrible for the rest of your life, and you still could be like, but in '96 though, like you could do that.
Now we had a run for sure, but sometimes watching it now, as somebody that was there when they were winning, it don't feel great, man. It's been a long drought in this city of winning championships in basketball.
You know what's funny about I've been watching so many NBA reels of old players on podcasts, and there's been this debate for so many years about fans need to shut up about LeBron versus Kobe versus Jordan debates. But the NBA players debate this shit just as much, it may be more than fans do. Like every time I click on a clip, it's some veteran being like, well, would you put Jordan? Or the veterans are always like Jordan. Anybody during LeBron's generation says LeBron. Anybody during Kobe's, like, it's all generational or who they played against. I'm like, these fools debate it more than the damn fans do.
Yeah, I've been over the GOAT debate. I just don't care about it.
Because there's no way to know what's real or who would have won, you know?
I don't care. I don't care about these hypotheticals. I was there. I seen greatness. You cannot tell me that this guy compares to him. I'm sorry. I was there. He was bigger than basketball at one point.
Yeah.
He still currently is bigger than basketball.
Still.
Like, there are people that don't know nothing about basketball, but they know his name. They know his shoes. It's not the same. I just don't. I think we're going to get to a point where we're realistic about this conversation. And it's not just me being a Bulls fan. I just don't think you can just compare anybody to Jordan. You just can't.
I could go into a random office building right now in San Francisco, and there'll be a fool wearing Jordans that doesn't care about basketball, that doesn't, like, he still has those shoes. I'll go outside right now, and like, no matter who, it could be any person of any class, they have those shoes on. And I see like LeBron's never in the wild. I never see, you know what I mean? Like there's that cultural impact. There's so much that is slept on because of recency bias. And I'm like, I feel y'all. Like LeBron has been around for a long time. He has a lot of the accolades. Like he is this generation. But then Steph still was cooking him while this was happening too. And like there's, you know what I mean? There's a bunch of things that are in there on top of LeBron. Like Jordan had some issues, but when he went to the finals, he was winning those finals.
Undefeated. Never lost. Undefeated.
You know
Never
what I mean?
lost.
Like, the debate is like, there's a debate, but like, it's not really a debate if we really sit down.
If we really break down, it's not really a debate. He made basketball a global phenomenon. He opened doors for this guy. Him having that Nike deal straight in the door, that happened because one man changed shoe endorsement for everybody in the sport. There was no Nike endorsement until he opened that door. There was no going to the Dream Team and doing that He was the guy that changed that. He changed all of these things. And I said this to a friend on the phone the other day, and I was like, when you really break it down, the guy that has more in common with doing things that have never been done is Steph Curry. But a lot of people don't want to say that. When you look at Steph Curry, who broke Mike's record for most wins in the season, Steph Curry. There's 3 players that have won MVP, led the league in scoring and steals in the season. Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson,
Steph Curry.
A guy that changed the organization to being the most lucrative team in the sport from being perennial losers. Steph Curry. I mean, no, he's done more things in common with Jordan than people give him credit for. But we'll have that conversation when he retires, because I don't think people want to, because they're too busy saying that Bron is the greatest thing ever.
That's so funny. I just saw a clip with Lupe, and he was doing an interview, and the woman was like, there's so much of your influence out in the world, like Chicago rappers that we know, Saba, they're all influenced by you. She was like, how do you feel knowing you influence people, and like, do you feel like you get your flowers? And Lupe was like, it's not my time to get my flowers because I'm still doing it. He's like, I'm still actively doing rap every single day, so I don't like, there isn't time to like put me on lists, there isn't time to compare me. And so I kind of feel like that's how it is about Steph, is like he's still actively shooting threes, like he's still working on these records, he's still trying to win championships, so people can't put him in those lights. But why is it so different with LeBron? Because nobody believes he's ever going to win again.
I have my theory as to why. That's a long conversation. This is not a basketball podcast, so I won't go into my long rant about it. But my last thing I'll say that he's done that nobody else has done, that is a thing that only Jordan not just changed Nike, where their endorsement for him, being a Jordan athlete became a thing. His brand, not Nike as a brand, Jordan as its own brand became a thing. You know who else is doing that with Under Armour? There was no Under Armour athlete. Steph Curry. You don't see, there's no such thing as a LeBron athlete. No. But Steph Curry is signing people to his brand.
It's just hard for me to say this guy's better than this guy when he's like, why are you wearing that number?
Again, I don't want to get into that rant because people just look, man. There's too many things that he's done that guy opened the door for you to do. You tried to do his movie franchise.
and his number. Yeah, it was not good. It was not good. But shout out to LeBron. I'm not a LeBron hater like Philip Lindsey is. I fucks with LeBron, but like, there's not a debate. I'd put him under Jordan and Kobe, honestly.
Lakers not looking too hot, man.
Lakers look like that clip that you sent in the group chat the other day. LeBron just standing there like, dude, do something, then. You don't have to just stand there and be mad.
LeBron. Yeah, watching him lose is so funny to me, man.
Because he blames everybody, Phil. He blames the coaches, the referees, the commentators. I'm like, it's not, dog. What about you? You're LeBron.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of funny things about this. One of my favorite things that he does is he'll bring something on himself. He'll be the one that comes out and yells something like, not 1, not 2, not 3, 7 championships. Then he loses. Oh, everybody's all on me. You're the one that came over there straight away and said you're going to win 7 championships. And then when people start hazing you for not winning, you did this. So he's currently doing this thing now where he's like, he's got JJ coming out saying, well, it might not be feasible for him to play 82 games. I don't know. He's the one that came out and made his goal to play 82 games this season. Nobody told him as a 40-year-old you should be playing 82 games.
Now they're in the news like, I don't know why y'all trying to force LeBron to play 82 games. Like, y'all know he's older. Y'all know what position. No, he's the one that said
he did this. It's the same thing with his son. Oh, why are you guys criticizing him so hard? You are the one that tweeted at one point, my son is better than a lot of these players. This was you. You did this.
I love that everybody always brings that tweet up to be like, you said he was better than everybody here. Now what do you want us to do? And he's like, don't criticize my son. You guys are putting more pressure on him because he's my son. Dog, you're the one that said when he was 6, you knew he was going to be a superstar.
You did this to him. Nobody else did this.
If I was Bron, I'd be like, Dad, shut your ass up, dog. Like, I'm never gonna play if you don't stop shutting up. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Yeah, which is still very funny to me that the synopsis to Space Jam 2 is him wanting his son to be a ball player, and he's telling his dad the whole time, I don't want to be a ball player like you. And in real life, what's happening? It's such a funny coincidence.
It's like you have to see the bit, LeBron. Like, this is hilarious. Tidruza says, always will shout out the bigger picture with DJ Head, Elliot Wilson, and Jeremy Hecht. Love learning from Wilson and Head. Head is funny as hell. Hashtag West Coast.
West Coast. Yeah, no, shout out to DJ Head. Very funny guy. Those few weeks where the battle was going on and he was just sitting there with that smug look on his face like, man, I don't know nothing.
Dog, his energy during the battle of being like that smug look he had the whole time of like knowing, because he knew what was coming to, of like knowing what's about to come. And then when it came, being like, I told y'all, and like I told y'all the whole time this is gonna happen.
West Coast.
Hey, what's over there says, I'm going off of a Drake saying you have to beat me with facts, not fairy tale.
Yeah, that quote from that stream was crazy. This guy, man, what a funny guy, man. I
seen a couple of clips of that stream again this week, and I was like, what are you doing, dude?
Did you see the clip did you see the clip of Academic showing his wrap up from Tidal, and he tried to cover up the fact that Not Like Us was right at the top?
Oh no.
He tried to scroll past it really fast. Like, nah, we seen that. Not Like Us right at the top.
I mean, thinking about that, like, how does Academics feel about Drake going to sit with that guy? Like, my life is sitting in front of this and streaming, and you didn't come and sit with me, and I'm just your informant? Or like, how does he feel? Like, you can't feel good about that.
I had a very, very pointed joke that I was about to make, but
I
don't think other people would understand the joke.
Definitely keep it. Because I knew exactly where you're going. I'm like, nah. Do not. That's all of our super chats for now before we get in trouble. Appreciate everybody. Y'all are great. Listen, the game is the game, Phil.
He got some humper chats to get into as well. From Humper Chat, regular Tony P. Appreciate you as always, buddy. Going to be light on the humpers. So let me say, you two can pick your petty of the week, but I got two picks. Phil, because I know you were talking major shit after the Heat blew out the Lakers by 41. Unagi and the new hate for Tam. I can never hate a Tam hater, LOL. No, I think it's got to be petty of the week. Has to be the New Day at this point.
Yeah, totally. The seeing the scene they keep showing of Kofi with his hand on E's chest, like that's it.
Yeah, it's that one. Oh man, the way I laughed at them losing to the Heat. Oh my god, I was dying laughing, man. Just the so many things from that game. Them out there looking like the Washington Generals, and the Heat are throwing the ball around them. I immediately thought of the Simpsons bit. LeBron back there, he's spinning the ball out of the finger. Just take it.
I swear that one clip that you sent me of them doing the damn Harlem Globetrotters, I think of the Harlem Globetrotters music. I'm like, this is LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Like, these are like legendary players that are just looking like fools. What is going on
here? And Anthony Davis has been playing really good.
Right.
But no, Tyrone as well. Petty of the week, partially also to Big E's main squeeze, because she was getting them tweets off, man. Listen, man, you gotta be quick in it. Them Yum girls, bro, they don't play no games, bro. They will come back at you, man. They're quick.
Listen, you think you about to get your shit off on a Yum woman? Absolutely not. You will be buried. And the way that she buried Woods this week and talking about coming to their house and all that. Like, nah, you don't want to compete with that. That's a different type of energy that she brought there. I love a woman coming out to protect her man. That's not a lot better than that.
Stand by your man. I'm old. I'm sure
So
that young
old.
people are like, what is that?
What song is that? Stand by your man. There was like a commercial. Every time I hear that, there was like a commercial that would come on, probably during wrestling, of like a soundtrack or one of those. This is a blah 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 mix, and that was one of the songs on there. Stand by your man. That's how old I am. Commercials.
Probably a good time to get into this New Day segment. I've been saying for a minute, this is the best storyline on Raw. This really cemented it to me. Great long-term storytelling. Building this up of having Woods look like the most frustrated man in the world because he's just looking like, I'm tired of this. I just want to win. And to think all of this started because of Karrion Kross.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, this has been going on for months. And it really came to a head last week when they had this segment last week. Very, very heated segment. After that, I had no idea what to expect coming into this anniversary segment. But the segment itself was cool. They had all of the New Day stuff out there. They had the big box of Bootios up there. They had all of these other trinkets and stuff from their 10-year time. And man, it was cool to see. They came out there. It looked like they had an announcement. And then that's when we heard Big E's theme music. Haven't heard the Big E theme in a while. Still a slapper.
Yep.
Great to see E. Not so great to see what happened to him afterwards. He came out to plead to these guys because he's saying, man, I'm here to remind you guys who you are. And, you know, I'm sorry I wasn't here, but I'm ready to be here to serve as your manager. And they immediately cut him off and go, now you're here. Now you want to show up. Again, like I said earlier, to tie this in with him putting the Player Tribune article out and him chronicling his journey from a kid up to his time with the New Day. Very thorough article, very good article if you have not seen it. Aptly titled Sour. Man, do I miss him doing the opening for New Day. It's been so long since we've heard him do it. But he also, I think this is the first time I've seen him explain the making of that as well. There's a bit in there where he explains them writing that together and him saying how he didn't think it was going to work, but it ended up being such a big impact on his career. When you think of him doing like fights and MMA and he's done that intro, crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy to think about. But yeah, this segment was, man,
it hurt.
Heart-wrenching. Because I mean the stuff last week was tough to watch of them fighting, but watching them oust Big E out of the group, and E is at one point like, I wanted to be here, and they're like, man, you just hurt your neck. Like basically giving them the camera, man, people die all the time. Like,
yeah, straight up. Like, what about
like,
your
bro,
neck? What do you mean, what about my neck? This is a crazy injury. And they're just like, well, this person came back. Stone Cold came back from a neck injury. Edge came back from a neck injury. Where were you? And it's like,
Kurt Angle won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck.
Right. And he's just like, you guys, I've been to specialists. I've been to all the doctors. I've been to everybody to try to get this fixed. You guys know I wasn't just gone just because. And they're like, not trying to hear it, dog. It's like, you know, it's all a bit and they're talking about, like, it's like so many real elements in there. And it's like, you don't want to hear your brothers be like, we don't care about that. Like, you didn't care about us. You cared more about your broken neck. Is like, what?
Well, yeah, they add some more stuff in there. You know, you cared about building your new life, your desk job, your new girlfriend, your new life. You had moved on. And this was so good because his absence has been a big part of the storyline. All of the stuff starting this of Woods' insecurities, and at one point Kofi was like, "We don't have E no more. It's not the same." I mean, they tried to get a replacement. That's how big of a part his absence played in that. They tried to get a replacement that we don't talk about that guy anymore. But also like Xavier trying to tell him like we don't need anybody's help. It's just the two of us, and Kofi trying to get help from the LWO guys or this other guys, and he's just like, "What are you doing? When has this ever been about us reaching out to other people? It's always been just us." And so the E stuff has always kind of been in the background of this storyline. So for it to finally come to the forefront with him coming back, and I think a lot of us expected that if he did show up, cooler heads would prevail. He would be the guy that showed them like, no, I'm going to help reunite them again. And he did unite them in hate. Go figure, 2024, the year of hate, that these guys were like, nah. But the thing that I love about this is that this was them going back to their roots in a lot of ways. Because when Woods first brought them together, it's because they were losing. And he said, no, you guys don't have to do this. You don't have to keep losing. We can win together. You don't have to keep coming out here and being nice guys and kissing babies. So this was more of that. Also, bits of it like Woods with that scowl on his face the whole time. And he kind of is leading the way of saying like, now you can go. And even when Kofi joins in, like, we don't need your help. And poor E, man, at the end, when he's like, Woods, this is it? Woods. And he's trying to get his attention. He's just looking down. He's like, Kofi, you too? What's going on? And then he eventually does the sad walk out the door. What do you make of this? Because I've seen some people say that this is the tease to bring E back full time. It's like this could lead to him getting cleared.
I don't know, because in the promo, the lead up to them kicking him out of the group, he's like, I'm going to come back every week. I'm going to be both of you guys as managers. I'm going to kind of get you guys back to the prominence and glory. So it's like they teased him returning full time there. Only thing that makes me not believe that is because there wasn't any physicality. I feel like if E was on his way to come back, the way that they would have really put the stamp on this is by them beating him up. And the fact that he just, like you said, did that very sad, and I shouldn't have been laughing at some points of it, walk out and be like, Woods, for real? Are you serious? You serious? Because he, like, Kofi immediately was like, we're out. But he kept trying to convince Woods of like, Woods, you know what we've been through. Are you sure you wanted to do this? And like he'll walk for a second and then look back. Are you sure? And they're like, yes, we're sure. And it was just like, damn, why are they doing this to E? And like when you know E and you know how humble and nice and great of a guy he is, like the fact that they're doing this to E is like makes it even worse and makes them even worse heels, I think, because like if you guys just came out and did the you people speech, like that would be a thing, because like there are times when I feel like fans turn their back on you a little bit, but for the fact that you did it to E makes it so much worse.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the fact that there was no physicality was very telling. I think the fact that he at no point in anything he said I'm coming back to wrestle. He said manager. He's out there in the suit. I think with the Players Tribune thing, and he left it open-ended, but it very much felt like a goodbye.
Yep.
I don't know if other people read it that way. The Players Tribune article and him coming out the way he did, and Xavier making a point to rip the Band-Aid off and saying, look, let's just go ahead and tell people the truth. You're not going to get cleared. He has been saying consistently, I don't think I'm going to get medically cleared. Doctors have been telling me that you should not wrestle again. He had a life-threatening injury. I don't think people understand how serious this injury was. If he is not Big E with these enormous lats and this very strong neck, that injury could have killed him.
Yep.
And so I think he's very lucky that it's not as bad as it could have been. He could have been paralyzed or worse.
He's walking, dude. Like that's what he's really thinking about. He's not thinking. I think we're so focused on wanting E back in wrestling and wanting him back in the New Day, and he's like, dude, I could walk. Like I could have been paralyzed for the rest of my life.
This very much felt like him coming out and them saying a goodbye for now to his wrestling character.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we see him on the panels and he's great at it.
Mm-hmm.
He is really good at doing the panels before the pay-per-views. He's great at like doing the media appearances and stuff. But like I said, this didn't feel like let's tease something. This very much felt like, guys, it's not happening. I think he was basically saying it, and they were saying it like, look, we've been waiting around, like we've been standing still until you came back, but you're not coming back.
Mm-mm. Yeah, the fact that probably the part that hurt the most of Woods being like, yo, you guys, let's forget all this. You're never gonna be cleared. Like, what's the point of you even pitching this? So like leave. And this is like, damn, don't say that, Woods. Why would you say that? But like it's been kind of looming in the air. Like you said, Big E has said it a couple times. Like, I probably won't really, I think this might be it. And so I feel like this was the stamp of being like, going forward, you guys, there's not going to be a looming Big E over this. It's going to be Woods and Kofi, and that's what the New Day is moving forward. I feel like this was the 10-year anniversary of what that group was. Moving forward, it's Woods and Xavier, or Woods and Kofi.
Yeah, and of course, never say never. We've seen crazier things happen. We've had people that we did not think would ever wrestle again wrestling. So I'm not going to say that he'll never wrestle again, but this definitely, to me, felt like a goodbye. This felt like a send-off. This did not feel like, hey, there's more to come with him. Now, maybe he'll factor into their storyline in a different way moving forward, but I don't think this is leading to him coming back to wrestle.
No, I mean, we have seen Edge and Bryan. Both those guys did retire on TV. We saw it, and they both came back, but this didn't feel like they're teasing Big E's going to have a match with one of these guys in the next couple months. That's not what this was.
It had all the makings of when we've seen other guys come out there and have to do the sad, guys, I have to not wrestle. But it felt like them doing their spin on it and using it for heat, which was brilliant. I mean, doing the Player Tribune thing and having him come out there, as beloved as the New Day is by a lot of fans, it's gonna be hard to get them to be booed. And so to do this was a great way to get heat on them. And man, I think it worked exceptionally well. Now, I saw somebody tag us in something, and I was like, oh, this is exactly my kind of carrying on. In the lead up to this, the week before when they did the argument backstage, they both did the homage to Goku, because Kofi had the orange and blue, and then Woods had on the gear that was an homage to Goku Black. Some people noticed right away that Kofi had on the chain with the Majin symbol on there, and I was like, oh, I see what you did there, which again is very much back to their roots. They have worn their Dragon Ball Z fandom on their sleeves for a while. Both Woods and Kofi are Dragon Ball Z fans. Their WrestleMania 32 interest was based off of that. They had the Saiyan armor on. But for people that did not watch Dragon Ball Z, that are not, big fans of the show like I am, Majin Vegeta was a big story arc where Vegeta had, become a good guy, and he had lost his way in some way. And so the Majin storyline was him allowing himself to be possessed to go back to his evil ways to become more powerful. And so this idea that Kofi's like, I have to do this. I have to go back to our old ways because we've lost our way. We're losing. We should not be losing. And if I got to go back to the dark side to do that, then so be it. So I thought that was a very good touch. Of course, most people won't understand that because it's an anime reference, but those two guys and knowing that they're big nerds, I thought that was awesome that they brought that in. I don't know if that will play into something else later on. There was a fan that did a whole TikTok on it. I thought that was dope, but that in itself is really cool. That just shows that this current storyline they're in has brought people back and they're invested again. Man, that they got people when they get people to feel, and people felt something. I saw somebody compare this. I think it was Helwani that compared it to the barbershop. And I don't know if I would say that, but it did have similar vibes of like, we never thought that this would ever happen. Them somebody from the New Day getting kicked out of the group.
It's like, I hate that we always have to compare to something. Like, why can't this just be this great moment? This is just like this. Like, I feel y'all and understand, but like, what if this is just this moment? Why I gotta be somebody else's moment? I think it's a great way to. Kofi's been in WWE for a long time, you guys. Like, for him to continuously reinvent himself and be able to still have people invested after so long, when a lot of people in his position are like, when they have a job, they're just like happy to be there. And he's like still trying to contribute. They're still trying to add on to the legacy of the New Day. And that's just, after 10 years, is an amazing feat.
Yeah. But, to my point earlier about them going back to their roots, if you remember those vignettes from 2014, what for whatever reason, why they were doing those gospel vignettes with the choir behind them, and Woods walks through the choir with his suspenders, and he's doing this preacher stick where he's like, I said we have to look to the future, we have to get past the past. But that's exactly what they're doing in this segment. We got to forget about the past, we got to look to the future. And so I thought that was a great callback to their initial vignettes. What a great segment. Heartbreaking to watch, but really, really good segment.
Yeah, there was a lot of layered elements to this, because it felt like Big E interrupting them is like the moment of when Woods interrupted Big E and Kofi and like tried to rally them, but it was like, you're not going to rally us, and your stick is not working because it's too positive, and we're trying to do something on the dark side. And their whole stick and brand was based off of positivity, and like, it didn't work this time. It's like, this is such a layered story that they still can tell a lot. They can still do a lot with it, I think, moving forward too,
Yeah. Kofi was on, I believe, the Battleground podcast, and they were trying to ask him what's next. He was very coy about it. I'm not going to get into that, but he had a lot to say about people that thought they were going to split up. He kept saying, well, man, people, they thought we were going to split up. That's disgusting. I would never turn my back on my friend. Well, again, so excited to see this guy as a heel, because he is definitely going to get the most out of this. It seems like they're having fun doing this. And I think that that's also one of the big benefits of this. It seemed like they were floundering at one point, like not just in terms of they felt stale, but it didn't feel like they were having the most fun doing this. And like in the build to this, they have looked more motivated again.
Yes.
So very excited to see that. And very excited to see somebody save that tag division, because it needs saving. Judgment Day is sitting on those belts. They have done nothing with those belts. You've got to get those belts off of Judgment Day. New Day should be the champions to build around going into WrestleMania. And I hope that they have something planned for them. Don't do this storyline and then head into WrestleMania or all this stuff and don't have some kind of big match for them.
If they don't utilize this tag division, and New Day being a heel tag team that could be a veteran team leading these other young teams into prominence, it's going to be so unfortunate. It's they have to strike while the iron's hot, because if not, people are just going to forget about the New Day again. And this tag division needs, especially leading into Netflix and what SmackDown is doing. And so, funny enough, now people are comparing, because last night on SmackDown, DIY happened to go heel and turn on Motor City Machine Gun. So, Phil, how do you feel about people saying, oh, they just did the same angle with DIY on SmackDown?
I didn't like it. I think that it it was too soon. It immediately made it seem like the New Day thing wasn't as important, because it felt refreshing. Right. It felt different. And then a few days later, you teased all this time that the DIY might be splitting up and that Ciampa might be turning heel, and then you did the exact same thing with them. I didn't like it, but and then like with the Motor City Machine Guns, you had them drop the belts, and it just feels like, but they've been champions for what, like 3 weeks, and I don't know what they're doing, man. A very odd decision, but at least they've got something going with DIY. I just wish that they would have given the New Day at least a week to breathe instead of doing it the same
Let us
week.
take this story in first, take this heel turn in first of the New Day, and then digest it, and then we move on to the DIY thing. Because I feel like a lot of people maybe thought this where the DIY story could be leading to, but to do it back to back feels like you just did the same story on two different shows. What, like, that's not anything. That's weird.
Yeah, I think the transfer thing that they talked about is a good way because SmackDown has more tag teams at the moment.
Yeah.
I think now with the New Day back in play, you can move some of those tag teams that could use the time on TV to Raw.
Yep.
Because Raw, they have ALP, they have War Raiders.
Yep.
But they could use at least one more team over there. What the heck is going on with Pretty Deadly? They've got tag teams on SmackDown that could use something right now, and I don't think it's a good sign that you have 3 tag teams that are trying to turn heel because they have nothing else going. Yeah, New Day turning heel, DIY, they're kind of teasing Street Profits potentially turning heel as well.
Yeah,
and that just kind of shows you where the tag division is, and I hate that that's what it is. Like, in order to be interesting again, well, we got to turn heel. Well, no, you could just use them.
Not necessarily. Yeah, exactly. It does. That works for some of these teams. Like, I think for New Day, yeah, that's the time. Like, they've been baby faces for so long. Like, for their characters, it makes sense. Even for DIY, like, maybe not in the same week, but I feel like in order for them to move forward, them being heels is just going to make a lot more sense. And then Street Profits is kind of the same thing, but like, you can't do them all at the same time. Like, maybe they all do need a change, but like, turning these 3 teams heel at the exact same time, probably not the way to go. But yeah, SmackDown's tag team division seems way stronger, legit, with just those teams, Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, and Street Profits. Like, we're going a million miles per hour with those tag teams. Raw has the potential, if they invest in the New Day and they actually invest in the tag team division, I think it could be very beneficial to the division. And the fact that they keep saying that both of the shows are going to be 3 hours to fill, I think you're going to need more tag teams, more people to fill time.
2 3-hour shows sounds terrible.
That's crazy.
The Creeds are also on Raw.
I
forgot about that, but that's again where I feel like they could have done more with American Made. How do you feel about long term? It feels like the storyline that makes the most sense coming out of this is the New Day versus the Wyatts, because the Wyatts' whole thing has been about, keeping families together, and for them to throw E out, this immediately is going to put them on a collision course with the Wyatts.
I mean, story wise, it's going to be something. It's gonna keep them in there, but like, that's not the match I want to see. Like, if that's the big WrestleMania match, that's not what I'm into. But I mean, they're trying to build up the Wyatt 6, and it would make sense, but I don't want it.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 things that are interesting to me about it. Of course, before, I believe the Wyatts were heels. They were doing the big spooky gimmick, and you had this whole storyline around it of Woods being afraid of them, and he had to overcome his fear. At this point, he's not the same character. He's one of the driving forces behind this tag team. So it's going to be interesting to see their dynamic and how much it's changed without Bray leading it. But also, they work differently as a tag team now, and so I do think the matches that Wyatt 6 have shown that they can work. It's just getting to the feuds that work. So if this leads to like a feud for the tag titles with them, I wouldn't be mad at it, because they do have something in a Wyatt 6. They just haven't had the material to work with.
Right. If they get away from like the Karrion Kross spooky stuff and like get into some storytelling with the family stuff, I think it definitely could work. I mean, this is a good sign, even though it's kind of dumb they did them in the same week, that they do have stories for these tag teams, because that's the division that's always feels neglected. So if we're gonna get more stories told on both divisions, I'm in. But if this leads to double, you don't care about the belts again, I'm gonna be very upset.
Yeah.
Do you think they should keep Finn and JD together if Judgment Day broke up?
No, I'm ready for. I know that sounds bad, but I'm just ready for Finn Balor to be on the singles run again.
Right. I think about like guys like Finn. This week I was specifically thinking about Finn and AJ Styles, and I was like, I know AJ's injured, but like if you guys got a wrestler like Finn Balor that can still go and can still give you everything that he always could, he probably should be a singles wrestler, like in some contention for something, like wasting away, not defending these tag team championships and still fighting with the same fools for a year. This is Finn Balor. Like it's not going to be forever. Like this guy's getting older and older. Like you got to utilize him while you can. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. They did, like I said, tease this week of him going for the world championship. So it's looking like it's going in the right direction, but there's going to continuously be Judgment Day stuff looming over it.
We got a Dom world title match because Gunther is trolling. Gunther being like, oh, well, you know what? You deserve this title match, which I was like, I hate Gunther, man. That's what you're supposed to think. I was like, get out of here, man.
Come on, Gunther. Like, of course you would think that, and it's a funny bit, and you could chop Dom and beat him up, but like, no, I want to see you wrestle Finn Balor, dog. What are you doing?
Yeah, we've been wanting to see him wrestle Finn Balor since NXT UK. So give us the match.
They teased it. Maybe we're close, but like Gunther, I don't know, man. There's some people gunning after the dog. I don't know if you're gonna make it with that world championship.
Yeah, but yeah, great segment from the New Day. I thought all of the stuff from Raw as a whole open strong with the Punk and Seth Rollins stuff. Closed with the return of Drew McIntyre. I thought it was a strong Raw.
Yeah, very exciting elements building, especially going into Netflix. They're going to need some heavy hitters, especially coming out of Survivor Series, where we heard filling these injuries to some of their top stars. Like, they're going to have to start to load it up, especially, like I said, if they're going back to 3 hours. Like, we need content. We need all hands on deck. We need our top stars. So seeing Drew Mac back, seeing them tease Punk and Rollins, like, very exciting stuff.
Yeah, exciting stuff. Got more to get into. Got Survivor Series to talk about. Got more Continental Classic matches. But before we get into that, I am going to hit you with a word from our sponsors.
BetOnline.AG is the official betting partner of Fightful. 100% of the time when you get the odds from Fightful, they are coming from BetOnline.AG. And it's not just wrestling, it's not just MMA and boxing. It's football, it's basketball, baseball, hockey. They have the earliest lines. You can bet big with the high limits and rebet functionality. They have the fastest payouts with winnings paid in minutes and the industry's best bonuses on every qualifying deposit. They've been trusted for 25 plus years. It's not some fly-by-night company. BetOnline.AG has been there. They've done that. In addition, they're trusted by millions. They've got VIP rewards programs and a ton of popular games. BetOnline.AG, that's where I go to make my bets. That's where I suggest you go to, my friends. Please just bet what you can and bet responsibly.
As always, please bet responsibly, but if you're looking for a place for all of your sports betting needs, BetOnline.AG is a place to go.
Bet online, homies, get your bets in. There's all kind of sports continuously happening. There's wrestling to bet on. Like, if you're good, go for it, and go for it on Bet Online.
Yeah, that's right. I did see that. Finn versus Gunther has been confirmed for Saturday Night Main Event. They are loading up to this show. We've got the inaugural Women's United States Championship match coming up as well. You've got Kevin Owens versus Cody as well. Should be a strong show.
Damn, that is super strong. They're loading it up pretty heavily for Saturday Night Main Event return. It makes a lot of sense. Again, with where they're leading to, going to be a lot of fresh eyes on the product. Put your best stuff on the show. Having Cody main event it just makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Let's get into a few super chats, and then we'll get into a few humper chats, and we'll move forward. Grapple Geekery said, Young folks ask me about their favorite animes, and I warn them it's old man anime. My favorite is Guyver with Robotech, Star Blazers, Transnor Z, and Akira.
Yeah, you went very old school with Guyver. I'm sure that there are some people that are like, "What is this?" Robotech also very old school. These are definitely, you're just missing Andrew Kakeda in there, very old school as well. Yeah, you went for all the old school names. Akira, of course, iconic anime movie. If people don't know that was the inspiration for our current hoodies. When I had the idea to put the Japanese text over our logo, it's because it's from the Akira posters. I was like, I've always wanted to do something similar to that, so that was the inspiration for that. If you guys didn't know,
I was like, I didn't know MacGyver was an anime. That's the only Guyver I know.
MacGyver.
I'm really taking this back. You want to talk about old? Let's talk about MacGyver.
Yeah, another hilarious conversation I had with Emilio, because I was like, yeah, you've seen Akira, right? And he was like, Akira. And then he looks it up. He's like, oh, Akira. I was like, that's how it's pronounced, Akira. And he was like, why are you saying it like that? I was like, that's how it's pronounced.
Why are you saying it like that?
Like, he was like, it's Akira. And I was like, no, I've always known it's pronounced. Like, I don't know.
You know us. You know us Americans. We pronounce it how we want. Tyrone Kidd said, just for reference, Kofi been a heel to me since the accent. Look, he was just doing his job, Tyrone Kidd.
Nah, man, he was trying to listen. Those old segments, man, of him like sitting on the beach with the Jamaican accent. What a different time, man.
Wrestling was so different. I remember watching, because I think they premiered them during the WWE ECW days, and I remember they would play those vignettes and just thinking, "Oh, cool, a black wrestler," but like, what? Why is he talking like that? Because I've had a feeling he didn't talk like that. Jim says vaping caused their heel turn. Big E posted on IG. Vaping did this.
He doing them vaping commercials. Like, vaping is bad for your health too. He the Woods and Kofi are like those flat plastic things laying on the couch, and he's coming in there like, man, see, vaping is causing all of this.
Yep, he comes in, he's like, vaping, it's like metal in your lungs. Have you guys not heard this commercial? Come on. Vaping is that one commercial. I always do that for some reason. Vaping is
those commercials are awful.
Hey, what's over there says, curious how wild you guys think Darby versus Ospreay is going to be, because I know Darby is going to sell the hell out of the Hidden Blade.
Yeah, Darby's storyline going into this has been really cool. That is a match I'm looking forward to. I don't know what that's going to look like. I assume that Will Ospreay is going to throw this guy around and hit him very hard with strikes.
Their styles are so, it's like the most intriguing Continental Classic match to me, because their styles are so different. Like, Ospreay's very close, he's very tight, keeps it in a space where he can hold on to the wrestler, but Darby's not like that. He's so out of there. He's so everywhere else and chaotic and different. Very exciting matchup coming up here. And Margie Love says, I need Chelsea versus Meechin for the U.S. Women's Championship belt final.
Yeah, I'm curious. Because we have the semifinals announced for next week. I was a bit disappointed that Naomi lost last night, but I understand Tiffany needs to move forward because they have the dynamic with the matchups and heel versus face. I'm not sure what to make of this. I kind of could see Bayley moving on to the finals. I think it would be better if it was Meechin, because, of course, Meechin has not won a singles title yet. I think she would benefit more from having the belt, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bayley moved for it.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, Chelsea has a pretty strong dog in the fight too with what the work that she's been doing. You know what I mean? And like, what she could potentially do with that belt could be a lot if that's the direction they're trying to go. You know?
Yeah. Right now, I think it should be either Meechin or Chelsea. I think they both would benefit the most from this.
And it should be like somebody like that. one of the on that level that's been here, knows the game, works hard. Like them two definitely deserve it. And don't just give it to like a 4-horsewoman or somebody we know, like somebody that's new, somebody that's fresh, somebody that's gonna carry that belt. And then Steph the Ryder says, kind of along those lines too, if Jade is out long term, let Bianca move on to the world title picture. Plus, other teams can fight for the titles.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do with Bianca moving forward. Definitely has missed her as a singles competitor. I do think it's interesting that she's been selling this losing streak for the entire year, and then as soon as Jay gets injured, she starts winning matches again. Very interesting to see what that means. I have to assume that's going to play into something because I've been saying all along I think this Jade injury is a work. I don't know what that means, but we'll see.
Yeah, the Jade thing I'm very intrigued about. I don't know. Like after they took her out of the match, I was like, that's interesting. And then there was some rumors and stuff spreading and circulating. I'm like, that's also interesting too. And it's just like every time I hear something and see something, it's just always super interesting. Jade is such a character and like figure that like there's always going to be stuff attached to her. And it's just very interesting. That's all of our super chats for now. Y'all are cool.
Yeah, we also got the first week of the Intercontinental title tournament as well. Big King Coda moved forward. That is my pick to win this whole thing. So I'm very excited to see her pick up her win. Yeah, and that was a fun triple threat match. So, and I don't know when we're getting the finals for that yet. I have to assume it's probably going to be on the first episode of Netflix. That makes the most sense, but I don't think they've announced that yet.
No, they haven't. Yeah, the homie Casey hitting that step off of Shayna's or step off of Dakota's back and trying to hit the Hurricane Rana. I was like, oh no, they're out here cooking. This is kind of hard. I did get a very great big pleasure of seeing the brackets and seeing the homegirl Natty Neidhart in there, just knowing that she has the potential to win the Women's Intercontinental Championship, has so much history attached to it. And I'm rooting for Natty. I don't care who else is in there. Let's go, Natty.
No, I think even if she's not the inaugural champion, she has to win that before her career is over. It just makes too much sense for her to hold that belt. But if I had to guess, I don't think she'll be the first champion.
Probably not first.
By the way, Nia Jax posting that video of Shayna mad after losing that match and like trashing Dakota and the other people in the match while she's like trying to put her hair in a bun. Have you seen this?
I haven't seen it.
It's so funny, man. Nia's in the mirror, putting her hair up in this bow, and the whole time Shayna is walking back and forth yelling. And Dakota Kai anyway, she's just gonna get injured again anyway. So why are we even paying attention? Like they're all like talking crazy, and the whole time Nia's like doing like these reactions in the mirror, like. It's so funny. If you have not seen it, go look it up. By the way, Nia again being a troublemaker. Somebody posted a clip of Jacob coming out of the ring and heading backstage, and somebody yells at him, "You suck, Jacob," and he goes, "Nah, your mama sucks dick."
He can't say that.
And Nia quote tweets it with like, "Nah, some of y'all moms should be doing more of that because some of y'all should have been swallowed." I'm like, yo, y'all gotta chill out.
Yo, I saw Nia's tweet and I was like, I don't think you can say that. This is a PG show. Like they can see your tweets, but yeah, Nia don't care. She said your mama should have swallowed something. I'm like, yo, Nia, I don't think you can. But hey, she's a heel. This is what you could do when you're a heel. You can just be like, oh, it's being a heel. It's my character.
Nah, Jacob just matter-of-factly just saying that straight to the guy. He's got his camera up all in his face and everything. He does not care.
Jacob do not care. He lucky he just got that.
Oh. Yeah, Nia, man. What a year Nia's having.
Well deserved. She's working hard.
See, this happened to some of these Humper chats. Again, if you want to send us your Humper chats, humperchats.com/Fightful. We got one from Tony P. He says, as to the wrestling this week, hot damn, Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, and Rampage were all good, even with some obvious issues. 10 out of 10 for wrestling this week. Still waiting for starting bracket and to see if TK/Brett are planning a little ROH versus CCW throwback story.
No, they're not. Not a bit. They ain't friends. That's all I could say. I don't know. It's not even not any secret. You could see the stories that are coming out. This isn't a bit, you guys. That's all I want to say. Like, this isn't like, hey, they've been working together this whole time. Nah. There's some shit going on.
No new friends. No new friends.
Yeah.
No new friends. No new.
I wish it was that. I wish they were doing the ROH versus CZW thing, and this all culminates with the big cage of death. But no, this culminates with Matt Cardona being on ROH.
And losing, probably.
Definitely losing.
He's definitely losing. That was interesting off of the backs of this Effie stuff and the Ricky stuff of Brett being like, no, I haven't talked to anybody over there. They haven't reached out to me. They've never reached out to me. When they book people over there, they speak to the talent. They never talk to me. I was like, ooh, I don't know what that means, but okay.
Again, not a bit. This is real. When wrestlers get booked, they get an email in their email. It's not like, hey, we're booking you through GCW. No, they book wrestlers through how they book them. And so he's serious when he says he's never talked to anybody over there. He's serious when he says the communication is how it is. And that probably was the first time of him knowing about Matt Cardona too, when we all found out about it, because that's how this shit works. It's the game.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy. But yeah, what a week of wrestling. We started off last Saturday because we had a pay-per-view.
We did.
Pretty quick and concise pay-per-view. I did the post show for it. WarGames. What did you think of this pay-per-view? I did a lot of talking about it already on the post show. What were your overall thoughts on it?
See, we've got to this unfortunate position that I didn't want WarGames to get to, where they're just putting on the match because it's November, just because it's Survivor Series. They figured out a way to get all these people in a 5-on-5 match, but this match ain't war, you guys. This isn't these guys trying to tear each other apart and we have to keep them in the cage to keep them together. This is like them doing moments and bits and people stopping for a long time, and there's a lot of pausing. It didn't feel like war. And so remember, I was texting you immediately afterwards, Phil, and I was all, the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre match was way more of a war if we're talking about cage match. Like, after that match, I was like, damn, that's how you do like Hell in a Cell. That's how you do that. Like, I wanted to have that feeling after this pay-per-view, and I didn't. It was just like dangerous spots. People were getting hurt. I was like, I don't know if because the concept of WarGames back in the day, they used to have a cage on top. You couldn't do high flying spots. It's like, put a cage on top of this because we can't contain these guys and we need to have them in one space where they all kill each other. And this is like not that. And so that was just the kind of unfortunate thing I had coming out of it. It was like, I want to see blood. I want to see carnage. I want to see that. And it's just like, oh, there's some WWE plunder. And it's like, if you're pitching me WarGames, I just want war, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the unfortunate thing about the WWE WarGames matches. If you know anything about the history of WarGames and what it's supposed to be the ender of a blood feud. It's supposed to be like this big violent match. I don't think either of these matches felt that way. Now, I will say the positive about it is since we've done away with brand warfare and made this pay-per-view more story-driven, I have enjoyed that part of it because the story-driven stuff has been good. But these style of WarGames matches, man, it's just getting used to, all right, this is what a WWE WarGames match is. Big spot here. Stand around and wait for this setup. And I thought that hurt the women's match more than the men's match. I thought that there were spots where I thought that they were going to do more, and it just kind of didn't go that way.
Right.
The way that the women's match was paced, the first 10 or 15 minutes wasn't great. Like, I did not like the first 10 minutes. I thought that it was a slog to get through. I don't like who they picked to start the WarGames match either,
Right.
because if you send Bailey out there, all right, but it felt like Nia should have been like, oh no, all my underlings go out there.
She's the anchor at the
She
end.
should have came towards the end, starting with her, and I thought that slowed down the start of the match, them going back and forth. I don't think that worked. I thought what they started with wasn't great. The toilet seat thing was awful. The match didn't really pick up until Io got involved, and even when she got involved, formulaic spots. We've seen her do the trash can.
She did the exact same spot she did in all the matches, you know.
Well, she did the moonsault with the trash can this time, which was impressive, but it's not as exciting when you can see it coming. And as soon as she came out, she got the trash can. I said, okay, I see. And it made me think, because we've seen a lot of the same women in these WarGames matches, and that's a positive and a negative in some ways. I feel like we could use some more faces in the WarGames match.
Yeah.
I also thought that the women's match in particular needed the Chelseas of the world, the Mia Yims, and the women that are willing to take these big, huge bumps to make this thing look different. And because that Chelsea in the ladder match and her going through the two tables, she's been able to get the most out of those kind of situations. And I didn't think that there was anybody like that, like Shotzi as well. Somebody that's willing to take these big outlandish bumps to make this match stand out. They needed someone in this match.
I thought it was going to potentially be Candace, but like they didn't really let her cook. Like she was there, but she wasn't, they didn't give her the opportunities that I thought she was. And like there was, it felt like this in both matches, but just so much stalling and standing around.
Yeah.
It was unfortunate. Even the Io Sky bit played into the men's angle too, because the men's thing was Solo being like, I locked you out, Roman, you can't get in here. But we just saw Io get into this match by climbing over the cage, dude, earlier in the show.
That was so funny. That was so funny. Him locking the cage and yelling from the cage, "Hey Roman, your ass ain't getting in here." And I'm like, I think there's no roof on the cage. He'll find a way in. Like, but yeah, I do think the women's match actually picked up when Io got involved. When all 5 women that got in the cage, it turned into a better match. But
yeah,
boy, it was rough to get there. This, I think, was probably my least favorite women's WarGames match. And even the stuff with Rhea at the end, where Rhea gets the pin, I was like, oh, okay, great. More Rhea and Liv stuff. And you've basically told us that Io is losing the Saturday night main event match now because they're going to go back to Rhea versus Liv for the championship.
Yeah, that whole bit, I was like, when it turned into, when all the women are in there and it got kind of chaotic, that's when it got fun. Like, this is what WarGames should be about. Everybody's doing something wild. Everybody's fighting. There's people jumping from over here. 2 people are doing moonsaults at the same time. Like, this feels like it, but like that, the results of it just being like, oh, this was just a showcase for Rhea, which like, I'm with you. Like, Rhea should have a showcase, but like, it didn't make me excited about this division because you're just going back to the same thing that you're already doing. And like, you told a couple stories in there, but I didn't feel like this really felt like we need a women's match. Let's get all the women in there. And I don't think that shouldn't be what WarGames is about. It should be like, we need to end these feuds. We have to put these people in there together so they tear each other apart. And the women's match didn't give me that vibe at all. Like, all the women worked hard. They did their spots and their stuff, but it just felt like a match just cause.
I think the thing that hurt the women's match as well, that the men's match excelled at, is you had more of the story elements there that made it more interesting. You had story stuff going into the women's WarGames match that they didn't play off of. Like, the whole time getting up to it, okay, how are Bianca and Bayley going to get along? Turns out got along pretty well. It wasn't even a thing. They brought up the Io and Bayley thing because, oh, how are they going to coexist? And then they looked at each other during the match, and then nothing. It just
let's be friends.
It worked pretty well. The handcuff spot with Raquel was It was fine. Like having her stuck in the corner of going, no, don't be live. All of that was unintentionally funny. Raquel ended up being one of the funniest wrestlers in this match, by the way. Her coming down and doing what everybody else did of looking under the ring, trying to find something, and then she finds the table. First of all, she comes out of the cage, no reaction. The crowd doesn't know if they want to boo her, they don't want to, they don't know if they want to cheer her. But she pulls this table out, and they immediately start cheering, like, yeah, tables. And then she's like, no, I'm not bringing the table in there. Boo. And then Rhea comes down later and starts trying to push the table in there. She's like, no, you are not putting this table in there. Very funny stuff. Salute to Raquel for using that table spot as a way to get reaction out of people, because it definitely worked.
Now, Phil, this whole match, I was confused about Rhea Ripley. Is this injury? So she wore the mask for the beginning of the match, looked intimidating and scary, but then she just took the mask off and started headbutting people. I was like, wait, what's happening here? I don't know what's real.
Nah, chase a check. Never chase a bitch. Hey, mask off. Hey, mask off.
Okay, this is probably my feature now.
No, she just wanted to have a cool mask on. She had the makeup on under it. Looked very cool. Rhea looked like a massive star in this match.
Yes,
no surprise. I just want to see some more developments for the women at this point, especially on Raw. I want to see some new.
Get her away from the Judgment Day. Just get her away from the same old shit.
Yeah. Do something different. But yeah, it came together towards the end. But boy, it was rough to start. Unfortunately. But the matches in between, I thought we got varying degrees of entertainment. Shinsuke Nakamura continues to be the master of theatrics. He came out with his new entrance, which was incredible. He's got the Blood Moon behind him. He's got the new remix of his theme song that is dope. All the visuals for this looked very cool. I love that he's doing kind of like a version of Great Kabuki where he does the miss. If people don't know, Great Kabuki was the first wrestler to use the miss. I love that he's kind of changed up his style where it's not him working like the high octane stiff shots as much anymore. It's just like him being more crafty than anything. And we saw that on Friday where he just moved out of the way a little bit and sprayed the miss in LA Knight's face. He did the same thing here where LA Knight thought he had the upper hand and he moved just a little bit and then flicked him in the eye. I thought all of that was good, showing that all of the mind games and stuff got LA Knight off his game. They kind of did LA Knight a little dirty here, man. Not because he lost, but when he came out, they did that decibel meter that they do to show, look, this guy's going to get a big pop. And so I was like, oh, it's LA Knight. He's still very over. I thought this thing was going to go all the way to the end. They were going to show, look how excited this crowd is. They made a point of showing like, oh, look, this guy's reaction isn't as loud as it used to be. I was like, why they do him like that, man?
Yeah, I don't really understand this whole situation because we had talked about it on the show earlier that day. We had made our predictions. We're like, yeah, there's no way in the world that Shinsuke Nakamura is going to win this United States Championship in this match. And then he just does it, and he does it clean. Well, I mean, clean as, shady tactics, but like essentially he just went in there and beat LA Knight and took his championship. And I was like, wait, huh? I thought that you guys are invested in, and then they did that, and I was like, wait, what's going on here? Like, what did LA Knight do something wrong? Because he's still one of the most over guys here. I don't really understand what's happening.
Yeah, surprising finish, but seeing his new presentation, seeing Nakamura's interest, and just I was like, oh, they might have to give him the win, man, because universally across the timeline on both Twitter and Blue Sky, I saw people like, no, this Nakamura thing is awesome. They got to do something with him. So I was glad that he did pick up the win because you didn't want him to come out with this completely new presentation and gimmick and immediately lose. So when I actually watched it, I was like, yeah, this makes sense for Nakamura to pick up the win. And I was happy for him. Nakamura is one of those guys that people just want to root for this guy. Every time you add an extra coat of paint to this guy, people are in. That just shows how popular he is. Just, again, how great he is at the theatrics and getting people to go, man, this guy's just effortlessly cool. So man, salute to Nakamura, man. He's one of those guys where he don't have to do much to get people to like him.
Yeah, exactly. That's what kind of felt good about it. It's like it was a shock, but then it was like, oh, it's Nakamura, so this is cool. He's so like just cool, and he's a legend, man. Like the contributions that he's made to this business are huge, and so just like you said, we just want to see him win. So if he just gets a win randomly, unexpectedly on pay-per-view, we're all in. And like them investing in his character, I think also aids in it, because like not only do we want to see him win, but we want to see him in stories. We want to see him involved, and it feels like they're making a concerned effort to give him more, and we're with it just because we love Knox so much.
Yes. My favorite match of the show was the Intercontinental title match. That triple threat was a lot of fun. All three of those guys came out of it looking great. I was late to the Bron Breakker bandwagon, but this guy has been tremendous on the main roster. He just has it, the athleticism, those spots where he would just like explode out of a cannon at somebody. They did it 2 times where he came from behind the camera on one. I was like, yo, where did he even come from? Then he does the spear coming towards the camera, and it looked like he was going to jump through our TV at one point. Like, yo.
When Bron Breakker gets on his I'm going full speed in order to get to my spot, it's insane because he like he's going hard for real. This match was the most like match of like these guys are going at it. It doesn't feel like they're in any standards or they're locked into anything. It's 3 guys trying to beat the shit out of each other. Sheamus, again, I'll say it. One of my favorite big match wrestlers is Sheamus. When it's like, oh yeah, go out there and beat these guys' ass, Sheamus, and get your ass beat too. There's not a lot of people better, and that's exactly what he was doing in this match. It's like any moment you see him, he's hitting somebody in the head, he's clubbing them, he's kicking them in the mouth. Like he's just a gritty ass. If this is a fight match, I'm a fight wrestler. And I think that it was so interesting a couple of weeks ago talking about Braun losing the championship to Jay, and how weird all of that felt. But then you see him as champion and you're like, I don't even know why they did those couple of weeks of him not being champion. This guy is locked in. He feels like he's adding even more prestige to the Intercontinental Championship after what Gunther did to it. I think that they got one for real with Bron Breakker. Like, we're going to see this guy main event WrestleMania. I feel like it's not a joke.
Yeah, he's definitely a future world champion, like easily. I still think that they should have kept the belt on Jay a little bit longer. We all knew it was going to end up going back to Braun. I think they could have waited at least till after Survivor Series. But, you know, there's no doubt that Bron Breakker can hold this belt, and he's a deserving champion.
Like he don't even really need the belt at this moment with how much he's cooking, you know?
Yeah. But man, low key, the MVP of this match that ended up coming across the best was Ludwig Kaiser. This guy, all of the character stuff he did in this match was so funny. Him bringing that chair in the ring and setting it up in the corner, and he's trying to meticulously push it in there and get it straight. And he finally gets it in there the way he wants it, turns around, and the other 2 opponents are sitting there. He's like, oh, shoot. Great. Him pulling the ref out when Sheamus was about to win, and Sheamus turns around and he's just like, yep, that was me. What are you going to do about it? Sheamus jumps out and he immediately starts beating him down with the shillelagh, and he is just like got this big shit-eating grin on his face the whole time. What a great heel. He came across very, very well in this match. Sheamus as well. Like you said, Sheamus is just a great big match wrestler. But Bron Breakker picked up the win here. Not much of a surprise in the outcome, but very, very fun match. I love this match.
Yeah, these triple threat matches sometimes can get kind of cluttered up, but I think WWE might have figured it out. Their last couple of big match triple threat matches, they know how to pace them, they know how to structure them, and they're just like fun, chaotic rides. And that's what this felt like right here. Like Ludwig's really good at bumping and selling, and he has really great facials too. That's why he played such a good part in this. Like he's just like the camera zoom in on him and he'll either do like a shit-eating grin or like a, yeah, I did that, what the fuck are you gonna do about it type grin. And it's just like, this guy's funny.
Love this match. Gunther versus Priest also I thought was a lot of fun. Wasn't the biggest fan of how we got to the outcome. But the match itself, I enjoyed. The story of Damian Priest is kind of in his head, and Gunther is showing a lot of insecurity after the loss to Cody at the Saudi show. I love that match mattered. I love that loss mattered because it showed that Gunther was off his game, and Damian Priest came at the perfect time. So Damian Priest comes in this thing confident, and then at some point he tweaks that shoulder. And as soon as he tweaked that shoulder, Gunther was sitting there like, "Oh, I got him now," and he all of a sudden became the Gunther we know and love. After that, he started targeting that shoulder, hitting him with the crazy chops. This match was very heated, and then Damian Priest gets pulled out of the ring by Finn Balor, gets hit with the coup de grace, and Finn Balor is talking his shit to him afterwards, and Gunther immediately pump kicks him out of here. I didn't want your help. I specifically didn't have Kaiser come out here for a reason. I don't need anybody's help to beat this guy. Gets him back in the ring, locks him in a Kimura lock, and Damian passes out, which also was weird because you did the interference. Then you also did the pass out finish. I get you're trying to protect Priest, but this felt a bit overbooked, didn't it?
It's a lot. I don't think you need all of these things, all of these elements, because like going into the match, we knew that Priest wasn't gonna win and Gunther probably was gonna beat him. So I don't think you needed all these hoops to jump through to make Priest look strong. There's a way to make him look strong and still accomplish what you were trying to do. Like they were just trying to put too much emphasis on it, I think. But I mean, him being in this position, I thought that he did look confident and he did feel like I should be in world title contention. I still should be featured in this spot. But we were just so into what's next for Gunther that we didn't really believe a lot of it. And the interference finish did not help at all. I do like that, like what you said, though, that they're continuing the story out of Crown Jewel because Cody's moved on. Cody's like, I'm talking about this Roman shit. I'm with Kevin Owens. Like, I'm into this. But Gunther's like, no, that loss in Saudi Arabia is fucking with me, you guys. Like, I'm off my game. Like, I keep thinking about Cody in my dreams, and I wake up yelling, screaming. Like, this is affecting me, and it could potentially cost me this match. I think that was a great story leading into it. But Gunther turning back into Gunther was the bits that we needed.
Interestingly enough, we did see Gunther on SmackDown last night as well. He was the guy talking to Nick Aldis when he first brought up this transfer portal thing, which that's interesting. I don't know what that means. I don't see a world where these companies swap champions, but that would be very interesting if they moved Cody to Raw. Because I kind of feel like Cody would benefit from being on another brand without the Bloodline stuff. I don't know what that means. But the other part of the whole transfer portal thing is Kevin Owens did finally mention Kevin Owens when Michael Cole asked about it. And he very pointedly said, I'm going to address that later. I do think we're eventually going to see Kevin Owens come for Sami Zayn in the lead up to WrestleMania.
I feel like I've read somewhere in the last 2 or 3 weeks that Netflix was interested in having Roman on the show, or did that make that up?
I'm not sure. I think Roman has been announced for the first episode.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, I would assume that Netflix wants one of the biggest stars in the company. Sure. But I didn't read that, so I'm not sure.
Because I'm like, I feel like Cody, like, even though the Bloodline shit's attached to him, like, he feels so SmackDown now. Like, that feels like his brand. And I couldn't see them making the swap. But, like, also, Netflix could be like, hey, we'll take Cody. Like, he's one of the biggest stars on this brand, maybe number 2 next to Roman. Like, also, him going over to Raw wouldn't be the biggest surprise in the world.
Yeah. And there's stuff you can do with Gunther on SmackDown, I believe. Roman... I mean, not Roman, but Cody being on Raw is interesting, though, because there's a few things I think they could do with that are interesting. I don't know.
WrestleMania season is where it gets interesting, though, because
yes,
like Punk, Rollins.
We did get the rumors this week with The Rock that potentially there are no plans for The Rock at WrestleMania, and what that could mean. That definitely shakes up a lot of people's predictions for the main event if Rock is not involved. And Cody immediately stands out of like, all right, what is Cody Rhodes doing if there is no Rock match? What is Roman doing if there's no Rock match?
If there's none of those matches, Phil, Dwayne Johnson is the funniest fucking wrestler of all time. For him to come and almost ruin this year's main event with his shit and like chaos, there's documentaries on the stuff that he did. And for him to be like, next year, I'm probably not going to be there, you guys. When they were like, we kind of felt like we're getting to this him and Roman match would be the funniest shit of all time.
Bro, him showing up at Bad Blood and doing all of that, and it's leading to nothing. Hilarious. It's Terrence Howard in the first Iron Man movie saying, "Next time, baby." There was no next time, Terrence. We didn't see you again. No Sorry.
Rock coming out to Bad Blood just to be like, "I'm here." It's not leading to nothing. I'm just showing up. Is dog? I'm dead. But yeah, what happens with Cody? And what happens with Roman? I mean, we talked about it many times on this pod. Like Roman and Rollins is there. I feel like Cody's the harder one to tell. Maybe Cena. I guess that could be a thing. But like
Orton is an option. He's got some options.
Yeah.
If he goes to Raw, there's some options for Raw. Maybe Drew Mack. There are options.
Might be more options for him because Roman is like. I mean, if you're not doing the Rollins match, I don't want to see any other match. That's the only match I want to see. Like, this is the time for that match.
If you're not doing a Rollins match, based on how well all of the stuff coming into Survivor Series went, Punk might not be a bad option as well. So I don't know. But I did feel like this pay-per-view suffered by not having Cody Rhodes on it. I don't know if that was just me, but I felt like it felt like something was missing in this pay-per-view. I think a lot of people expected a big surprise at the end because we got the big surprise last year with Punk. It just felt like something big was missing here. And I think Cody, Kevin Owens on this card in Canada, that would have gotten a big reaction from this crowd. I think they kind of made the wrong choice to not put that match on this card. I get why they want to make Saturday Night Main Event feel like a big to-do, but having that match on this card and Kevin Owens getting a surprise win in Canada would have been enormous.
Dog, you just said it right here, Phil. I understand that they're trying to get to Saturday Night's Main Event, but that's how you get to it, dude. You have Kevin Owens have a surprise victory here in Canada, huge pop, huge heat, and then just run the match back again at Saturday's Night's Main Event. Why y'all try to act like rematches now are the craziest thing in the world? Like this, I think this is a testament to how Cody has positioned himself. Like, you're right. There was a big hole, I think, missing out of the show. And it's like, because we want to see the world champion, dude. And specifically, we want to see Cody Rhodes. He tells so many stories and he gets so many people emotionally invested that when there's a big show now, I want to see the world champion, specifically Cody Rhodes. Like, he's not Roman Reigns. That's the difference. Is like, if there's a show, he should be there defending his championship because that's the precedent that he set himself. So it did feel like, damn, they should have maybe had Cody. And just because the heat that both the Kevin and Cody have, I think it would just help this show a lot.
Yeah. In Canada, last WWE pay-per-view of the year, Big Four pay-per-view in Survivor Series, and to not have your main champion on it, I didn't really understand the decision. But regardless, main event time. This match had a lot coming into it with the OG Bloodline and New Bloodline, not New Day, sorry, New Bloodline stuff that they've been building essentially since WrestleMania. They've been really teeing up this big 5v5 match for all this time. And then you introduce Punk into it. You introduce the stuff with Paul Heyman. I thought they did a great job in the last few weeks of adding more intrigue to this match. The opening of it, which we heard enough of that T-Pain cover.
I'm like, I like this, but after 1,000 times, like, All right.
They definitely played it enough. But
Mhm.
in the walk-in, and you saw all the other teams coming in together. Everybody, for some reason, had like their street clothes and their sunglasses on. Everybody else, all their teams came in together. Roman was the only person that didn't come in with his whole team. He came in with Jimmy, of course, because Jimmy has been loyal to him. But everybody else came in separately. Everybody else was doing their own thing. And it immediately fed into the storyline coming into this that these guys are not teaming with Roman because they get along with him or that they're going to go back to the way things were. No, this is a means to an end. We're trying to beat those guys. But after this is done, we're out. We're done with you. So I thought that was a great way to get to this. The entrances, the intro where they had all of the playoff, the football intro to the game. Very, very funny stuff. Solo's team and Jacob doing a I love you solo. Very funny. Tamataga, man. Tamataga is hilarious. Bro, him doing his from the shh university with a doctorate in yeah. And then it started the match. He's the first guy in the match, and he's waiting for somebody from the other team to get in, and he is just like crawling across the ring like he's Spider-Man or something, crawling across the cage, going back and forth. It's so funny
because like he's doing this and like Michael Cole's trying to be serious, but he keeps looking up at Tonga, who's like scaling the entire ring in circles, and he's just like, "What's going on here?"
No, you had me dying when he was like, he looks like Vega. I was like, yo.
He did look like Vega, though. He just like posted up and he has like that look on his face. I'm like, Tama Tonga's a damn fool, you guys. Like the match hasn't even started and he's already cutting up.
He did a few things that were very funny. When Punk comes down and gets in the ring finally, and Jacob's like, yeah, get in here. And the whole time, Tama Tonga's on his shoulder going back and forth. Yeah. So funny, man.
Tama doing bits, killed it, man. So good.
But man, this was a very fun match. I thought they got the most use out of this build, out of the dysfunction between all the members, the dysfunction between Punk and Roman. When they close that cage and we get that shot of Roman giving him the side eye, like, I can't believe I have to team with this fucking guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time it is Punk as usual, just sitting there like, I don't understand what everybody's problem is. Punk comes straight in when everybody else is getting in their cages, and he goes over there and riles up the people in the cage, instigate exactly what you'd expect this guy to do.
Yeah.
Very, very funny stuff. I thought, in comparison to the women's match, and this is, again, why I think they started with the wrong two wrestlers in the women's match. When you see how this one started, starting with Jay and having him get the last intro, having him start off hot, getting the crowd into it with the yeets and everything, and then having him go back and forth with Tama Tonga. This is the first time we see him and Jimmy work together. When they were working in that ring as a tag team and they had it going, even when they added Sammy, those are like the three fastest guys in the group. They work more in tandem. It made the match flow so much better.
Mm-hmm. How they had like Jimmy and Jay in at the same time so they could be doing their bits. Like the flow of this match felt extremely better, extremely different than the women's match. I did like the bits of them playing up in the cage of the time runs out and somebody's about to go and Punk's about to go and Roman holds him back like, nah, it's not your turn, and sends somebody else out. And then the next time Punk stops Roman and he goes out instead. I'm like, okay, they're teasing this confrontation, these bits pretty hard. Heyman's grinning from ear to ear every time he kind of zooms in over that. I was like, that's really interesting. And they played up a lot of it in the match with Bronson Reed doing his big bit, and Punk ends up saving Roman from getting smashed. So like, those elements, when they got into the like we're telling these stories bits, I did like those a lot better than the women's match.
Yeah, I think that's really what this pay-per-view has excelled at for the past 3 years, is the story-driven stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there needed to be more of it in the women's match. I think that
Yeah.
at some points the women's match suffered because of it didn't play as much into it. And in comparison, the men's match did better when they did play to that stuff. Because like you said, all the stuff between Punk and Roman in the cage, Punk getting ready to go in there and he throws his arm out and Sammy's looking around like, okay, yeah, I'll head out there, guys. See you later. All very funny stuff. Sammy's facial expression when they were like having their quiet infighting in the cage, he's looking around like, oh, right, well, heading over there now. Punk pushing past him and running out there, and the whole time, Roman's face, great facial expressions throughout this. His annoyance with Punk throughout this match was very, very funny, and that's what made it even better when Punk does save him from the big tsunami through the table. Man, shout to Bronson Reed, got injured in this match, but that tsunami did look incredible. Man, Big Jim as well. Jimmy looked incredible. Jimmy is taking on a lot of these allegations since Jay got better, and Jimmy looked great in this match. I think Jimmy was one of the better competitors in this match.
Yeah, Jimmy had a crazy fire in this match. Like he had something extra to prove. You guys, I was at Double or Nothing. I know both of these wrestlers watched that fucking match. You guys saw your hero jump off this cage and break his damn leg. Why are you guys both doing it in this match and you both got injured doing it? Like visually great. And like Bronson was tweeting like a moment's worth more than an injury. I probably wouldn't say all that. Dog, people out there like, we didn't need that spot. People are talking more about Punk pulling Roman off than they are of you wiping out. So it's like, what really was the moment here? You guys be careful out there. I don't know. I just didn't like it.
That's true. But Bronson did benefit a lot from being in this match, where he was earlier this year, not being able to participate in his home country at Elimination Chamber and having such a big part to play in this match. Great. I mean, the Jimmy thing, I feel so bad for him because it was just his foot landing awkwardly after the splash, and Splash looked incredible.
The splash was phenomenal.
But yeah, unfortunate. Hopefully those guys are back soon. But yeah, sucks to see that. But unfortunately, with these kind of matches, with these big, dangerous spots, it kind of comes with the territory.
That's the game. That's the game. I hope everybody's okay. I love the role that Sami Zayn played in this, and the next night on Raw plays even more bits to it. But like when Team Roman and Punk win the match, and they're all in the ring, kind of talking and celebrating it, Sam's like, "You guys, we won the match. I don't even know why we're still here beefing. Like the mission objective was achieved, and you guys are still mad at each other." And he's just like trying to be a family the whole time. And Roman or Punk are like kind of into it, but mostly like we're through this match and I'm out of here. But the role that he played in kind of keeping it together and his pops and his situations, Sami Zayn, man, one of those guys.
Love Sammy. And this was really what he did for the Bloodline when he was introduced. He really, with the heart and soul of that group at one point, he stopped that group from being stale because it was growing stale. Then when you added him and it got much better. He was great in this match as well. The Punk stuff was very, very funny. Punk initially getting ready to get in the ring and he's outnumbered by the new Bloodline guys and he's looking around, and this just shows what the Hell in a Cell match did for him. And to your point earlier about how much more violent the Hell in a Cell match was, because as soon as he brought out the toolbox, he got a big pop for that. Not just because how good that match was, but it kind of felt like people like, oh yeah, real violence now. Last time we saw this, we saw blood. Didn't see blood here, but him coming in with the House of Fire and hitting everybody with the toolbox, knocking people down, goes to hit Jacob with his trademark knee in the corner, comes out, hits the running bulldog. Jacob lands face first on this toolbox, hops back up like nothing, and he's just like hyping up behind him and just completely clobbers him with this pop-up Samoan drop afterwards. One of my favorite spots of the entire match because the way he sells out of it, hyping up, so funny.
Yes, that shimmy. It's hilarious. And then immediately just destroying CM Punk, all his force with that some drop. I was like, yeah, Jacob is also a superstar in this match. Anytime that he had a spot, there's a scary spot where he missed that moonsault where I thought his leg might have been messed up, but he was okay. Yeah, he was out there going a million miles per hour, and you could definitely see like how on a different level he is than a lot of people in this match. It was just like, yo, Jacob is like, there's 10 guys in here, but we're still like focused on Jacob in a match that has CM Punk and Roman Reigns out there, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah. I mean, when we talked about it last week, we're both Jacob fans, and when people asked who was going to be the MVP of this match, we both were saying Jacob. Jacob ended up being the MVP of this match. That spot where, like I said, he pops up after the toolbox spot with the Bulldog, very memorable. He looked great in all of his stare downs with all of the bigger stars in this. Man, they got to strap the rocket to this guy, man.
Yeah.
He's special, bro. But I loved the finish of this match, man. Loved it. Having Solo finally get his comeuppance. You gotta give Solo all the credit in the world that he's played this role very well. Not just helping to build anticipation for Roman's return, but getting people to boo him and not like him. And so when he does get his comeuppance and he gets hit with all the finishers, it's a rewarding moment. Man, sold all of this like a champ. All of the finishers, the GTS into the spear, great finish. Roman also putting his arm out like he wants to hug him, and Solo's just like, I'm not falling for that, and proceeds to just get annihilated by the OG Bloodline team. And
I always love that bit. The finish of this of like Solo's been talking all this shit. He's been sending out his hounds to beat people up. Like he's been fucking up Roman's life. But as soon as he gets surrounded by the four, he's like, hold on, let's talk about this. Like, well, hold on. It doesn't have to be like this, like that scurrying away of like, just let's think about it. We don't have to do this. And then they all start hitting the moves. I'm like, no, Solo's facials, him turning into not trying to be serious Samoan guy and being fucking kind of arrogant little prick is like amazing.
Yeah, that was great finish. What I loved more than anything, not just the finish of it, but afterwards, Punk is sitting along the ropes, watching all of this stuff happen, and all of them come back to celebrate with him. None of them go and celebrate with Roman to end this match, other than Jimmy. Jimmy gives him a big hug at the end of the match, but they all go to Punk, and at some point, Roman is watching it, and you can see him in his face like, these guys are kind of moving on without me. And what are the odds? My biggest op in the world, they all want to be over there with him. They don't like me this much because of everything I've done. Even though they won the match, you could see all the consequences to what he's done. And I love that. I love when they get to the top of the ramp and Punk goes through the curtain because he's like, well, job's done, guys. Hey, see you guys later. And they're still trying to linger on the spot with all of the Bloodline guys up there getting their photo op, and he ends up having to come back out because he's like, oh, we're not done? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll come out here. Here's a night pose, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if they're playing into the bit, but the fact that Roman reluctantly embraced Punk of like, I don't know if he's looking like, damn, all of these fools are embracing him, and in order to look better in their eyes and try to move forward, I should embrace this fool too. I'm like, okay, these story elements that they're telling here. And like I said, Heyman having the grin in the back, just like, haha, got all you motherfuckers together, just like I planned to. We executed the plan, and what's going to happen moving forward? Interesting stuff.
Yes, he was forced to shake Punk's hand to end this match. What a time. Punk showing up at Survivor Series last year, hell freezing over moment, but then a year later at the same event, shaking Roman's hand in the night.
And us, the anniversary of the podcast happened. I'm like, how did these moments all line up like this? We never thought this was going to happen on that podcast. The main thing we got out of it was him being like, they're trying to push this guy, Roman Reigns. And now they pose together at the top of the ramp at Survivor Series. Wrestling is fucking nuts.
Micromanaging him to death, which has always been the point. I never understood people being upset at to make Roman look strong. I didn't see it as him trying to throw shade at Roman. I thought it was him throwing shade at them for micromanagement.
Management.
Like, hey, remember, go out there and make him look strong. It's like, I'm gonna put him over, guys. Like, relax. But that's what made it even funnier when he goes through the curtain, micromanage him again. Get back out there. You gotta pose for a picture.
It's not actually the end. We need one more bit. You gotta go stand next to Roman.
But all of this also culminating with everybody getting out of the ring. Paul Heyman sitting out there, like you said, with this big grin on his face. And as soon as Punk sees him, he gives him a big hug and he says, "Don't forget, you owe me a favor. Don't forget about me." And even at the end, when they're all doing the pose, and at the end, you could see, similar to the ending of the first WarGames match 3 years ago, where Sammy is standing in line with them and Roman is side-eyeing him. This time, Roman is side-eyeing CM Punk, and behind him, Paul Heyman is sitting there with this big grin on his face, rubbing his hands together. Very, very funny stuff. Starting the Raw after Survivor Series with CM Punk, he's pointing to the imaginary WrestleMania sign saying, "Hey, well, that's out the way. I'm letting you guys know I came back here for one reason and one reason only. That's the main event, WrestleMania. I want to be a champion, all these other things, and people just won't leave this guy alone." He keeps going, "Hey, man, I'm moving on now." And somebody with beef with him keeps popping up. I love the line. I love the line of Rollins of, "Hey, man, I ain't been thinking about you for 6 months. You've been thinking about me. I don't care about you. I'm done running races with people I did not know I was running races with."
Rollins did not. That one cut him deep because he's like, "I have been living this life. I hate this motherfucker." Rollins started out being like, "I should have knocked your ass out when I had the chance." Like, made me really happy. I'm like, "I've just been letting you exist in this space. I've been letting you call my company your company. Like, we're not going to play these games anymore. Like, this isn't about the nice CM Punk is back to have this nice run and we're going to be slapping hands. You are invading my territory and I'm tired of it." I love that energy from Rollins.
Yes. I also very much love Punk basically saying, "No, you have nothing I want anymore. You're not champion anymore. I don't care. When you had that belt, sure, I'll feed into this with you, but I don't care about you no more. You don't have the belt. I'm looking over there at that other guy. He's got the belt. He's got what I want." And he very much teases all his options to WrestleMania. He talks about the Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, possibly finishing story. A lot of things that he alluded to, but he also again said, "Hey, I do have that favor," which I do think is the end to this. I do think he's going to end up calling in a favor for Paul Heyman to get his title match and his main event at WrestleMania.
Yes, that does feels like this is exactly where it's leading to. It's leading to CM Punk being world champion and Paul Heyman's going to help him. It makes even more sense because Paul's so connected to his WWE title reigns that he would be the one to help him to get the match. So it plays into that a lot. What did you think about the immediate brawl after?
The scuffle was awful. The segment itself
so
was
bad.
Good.
Segment was great.
Was so bad. It was so bad. The punches thrown in it. Rollins having no mat game, doesn't protect himself. Soon as
he doesn't protect himself at all.
Very, very bad scuffle, but everything else about it was great. The Sammy interaction with Rollins afterwards, and the stuff with Jay
kind of
getting
like
attacked.
there's bits, the Sammy bits a little bit more of Rollins being like, "If anybody, dog, we've been traveling these roads for 20 years together. Like, I know you more than I know any of these people. I know that I'm more Jay, more than I know Roman, like anybody attached to this. And for you to be the one to go over there," which also plays again into what you're saying about Kevin Owens. Because if Seth Rollins is saying this about you, imagine what Kevin Owens is going to say about you. That's your best friend, and you were over here doing this. But then Sammy firing back and being like, "Fool, I asked you 2 times to join our team. I went immediately to you. You were the one. I didn't want to be on team with Punk. I didn't want to be in this position. I wanted you to come help me because I know that you are you're part of the reason that this is happening at all." And like just him kind of getting to Rollins and Rollins being like, "Yeah, I mean, you're kind of right, but damn, you still was teaming with these fools that I don't like."
Yeah, I don't know what the plan is for the next Saturday night main event, but it makes all the sense in the world to have Team Hater versus them. Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins teaming up against Cody, Punk, and Roman needs to happen at some point. That 6-man match makes the most sense in the world.
It does. Wow, those are some heavy hitters there. But yeah, I thought that Seth played his role right. The only thing I didn't like was that brawl, but the rest of it,
yeah, just
was awesome.
That whole pull apart, and I think it made it worse because all of Seth's pull aparts with Bronson have been so good, and so this one immediately stood out because it did not look good.
It's like, wait, you've had like 10 awesome brawls with Bronson that we're talking about online afterwards, and then this, I was like, oh, well, why are you like? If I understand, like, you want to simulate a real fight, well, just don't throw any punches at least, or like. Because the punches were Shane McMahon punches, and we don't need those.
Yeah, it did not look good. It looked like when he immediately started throwing the punches. I don't know if you've ever seen Me, Myself, and Irene, where Jim Carrey is like shuffling around throwing the punches, and they've got that music playing, and he just gets immediately clocked when he gets up close. Funny, man. What a funny movie.
Doing Me, Myself, and Irene's one of them ones.
Very, very funny.
I think I'm daddy all the time. I don't know. that movie's so funny. He has 3 giant black sons. It's like, this might be offensive, but this shit is hilarious. What a great movie. Shout out to Jim Carrey.
Yeah, but man, Survivor Series overall solid pay-per-view. Parts of it were not the best. Some of it was a little bit boring, if I'm being honest, but it was worth it, at least for the IC title match, the Shinsuke stuff, and the main event ended up delivering.
Yeah, I thought some of the results, the surprising results, enhanced the show for me. And like, sometimes WWE gets into this issue with these short shows. It's like some of the matches just feel like extended Raw matches, and I think they need to they need to start adding in a match that's just fire. You know what I mean? That's just, and it seems like, I understand you're trying to tell all the stories, and you should, but you also need something in there that's just for the crowd and to get everybody hyped.
They've got to figure out a way to get tag team wrestling on these pay-per-views. I think
that's what I'm saying.
That's been a big problem, that the tag teams have not been represented well on WWE pay-per-views this year. And hopefully with this New Day storyline that changes, because man, it's been sad to not see any big tag title defenses on these shows.
And that's exactly the things that I was saying. Tag team wrestling does that. Tag team wrestling brings the excitement. Tag team wrestling changes the trajectory, makes the cards feel different, and they just haven't been doing this. This is so funny, us talking about this. We talked about the New Day. We talked about the Bloodline. Babyface Usos and heel New Day.
That's going to be a fun one once they finally get to that one. That's why there's so much stuff you can do with New Day as heels, and you've got teams that you could put against them. Man, that Motor City Machine Guns match, when they get to that one,
Motor City's here now. I believe it. Oh my god! And I know that somebody was asking about NXT earlier, like Axiom and Frazier are gonna be here. I feel like eventually, and when they get mixed into their, like, the tag division, they have all the pieces, dude. They just have to give them the opportunity to show that.
Penta is a free agent. We got some potential teasers of that last night. Mello is going to have an opponent soon. They specifically did not tell us who it was going to be, but man, Lucha Bros versus New Day could be a banger as well.
It's getting spooky out there. WWE could do it. They could have the division if they invest in it. Like the teams we just named, we named like 6 or 7 WWE tag teams that if they just start letting these people cook, giving them pay-per-view matches, giving them Raw main events, giving them TV main events, it's out of here.
Yeah, I can't wait for them to do the overdone AEW thing of Xavier pulling one of the Lucha Bros masks off during their match.
But we did get some news about Phoenix, and he's not set to be there so quickly, but I don't know.
Eventually, it seems like that's where we're going. I don't know. Backstage shenanigans, man. What can you do?
It's too much. I don't want any more. Let's get into a few super chats and we'll move forward. Mod Revolve says, does Max Caster have a future without the Acclaim? I think so.
I think that he's done well for himself as a guy that gets heat, gets people to boo him. He's always been really good at that. I think that was part of what made the Acclaim work initially. I think he'll be fine on his own. I think people worried about that. He'll be fine. You do not need this tag team anymore. I think you can split these two guys up and see what you have.
Yeah, a few months ago, I was contemplating this and worried about what happened with Max Caster. But after the last few weeks and what he did specifically with Swerve, at the pay-per-view when he was getting crazy heat from the crowd and playing that with Anthony, I was like, oh, he'll be fine. And then seeing what he's doing with Swerve, I'm like, oh, he's going to be more than fine. He might like get super over and heat as a shitty heel that everybody wants to boo. Like, he elicits some emotions from people that not a lot of wrestlers can do.
Yeah, Swerve beat that man down. That was very, very funny to watch. Very funny watching him try to talk trash against him in his rap when he came out, and he immediately jumped him before he could even get in the ring. Very funny stuff. Again, reminded me of what the Acclaim used to do. He used to come out and do the raps, and poor Bowen would get jumped before the match because they were mad. Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think so too. Will Chisholm says, happy women got a lot of time on SmackDown. Bianca versus Piper was a banger. I'm more sure Naomi took out Jade and Sammy. KO coming for you.
Yeah, I'm not so sure on that. I don't know what to make of this whole Jade whodunit. I wish they would book Naomi a bit better, but what can you do? I don't think this is going to be a heel turn. I could be wrong though. This is the year of hate. This could be Naomi being like, nah, I'm sick of her.
If they are going to invest and give Naomi more time and stories and maybe some wins, then yeah. But if not, then I'm not that interested. I think she's such a dynamic baby face that like her shtick is like her entrance and how she moves. It just works better as a baby face. But if she wants to try something new and she's done some heel work that's very good and interesting. So I mean, just give Naomi more time, regardless.
Yeah, I think my immediate hesitance with it is that a heel turn for the other two is immediately more interesting.
Yeah,
Jade as a heel is better, and a Bianca heel turn could be a lot of fun, but I don't know.
But the heel in all this, if I were to pick one of the three, is definitely Jade. Like, Jade is definitely heel vibes. She works better, since she talks better, like all of that for her is what it is. That's all of our super chats.
Appreciate you guys as always. This is probably our last call for super chats and humper chats before we get into our last topic. Be sure to send those in. humperchats.com/fightful. We got humper chat from Van Twinblade. He said, hey, did you guys know that if you sign up to Glory Pro Wrestling Patreon, you can watch the full WrestlePocalypse 2024 show for just $3.
Wow.
That can't even get you a burger, drink, and medium fry at McDonald's. Ain't that fucked up? Oh, you can wait. Hey man, he's got a point. What a deal.
That's a fact. You can watch a full show for less than you can get a full meal at any restaurant at this point. It's crazy.
Yeah, to continue his humper chat, he said, or you can wait till the matches are edited and uploaded to YouTube. In the coming episodes, you can see Ricky Starks versus Coco Lane, Warhorse versus Raheem De La Suede, Ethan Price versus Effie, and Danhausen versus DD Dak Draper.
Glory Pro. Definitely invest, you guys.
We've got one from Orion Ben. He says, morning/afternoon Grapsody. I'm still coming to grips with what happened on Monday. Credit to E, Woods, and Kofi for their sustained excellence with a faction. The others really wanted to be stereotypes. They took the ball and rose above the BS and got fans hooked. Yeah, I think, again, that's what makes the stuff on Monday so good is they've always been able to do something in an unconventional way. They've always been able to subvert expectations and do something completely different than everybody expected. So, man, for them to take something like this where people are like, just split up. People are still, after all this time, after 10 years ago, just split up. And they're like, no, we're still not splitting up. Now what? Boo us.
Yeah, and it totally plays along to the story that they're telling too. The We All We Got story of like people still can't see the vision after 10 years of like what we're trying to do. They think they know what's best for us, fans, the management, Big E, people that are involved with it think they know what's best for us, but we know what's best for us. And if we execute our own vision, then we'll excel. It's like, I love that the thing, no matter what, from 2014 till now, it's like we're all we got, no matter what.
New Day Brothers, we all we got.
Mm-hmm.
Our last Humper chat for now from Give Me the Raw.
Give you the what?
From Give Me the Raw Nut. Which wrestling show?
Context or nah, you're just gonna move forward.
Leave me alone, man. Let me enjoy my almonds in peace, man. Leave me alone.
I love how that all just came off Phil wanting to say he enjoys almonds and a nice little drink while he plays his games, and they're like, nope, raw nut.
Yeah. Give me the Raw Nut X. Which wrestling show won the best show of the week?
Rampage? That's crazy that I'm saying that.
It might have been Rampage. Rampage was no fillers, great matches. Raw was very good this week, though. I think really it's between Rampage and Raw at this point. Like, if you wanted like the segments and the story stuff building towards something, you had the big return and Drew McIntyre. That was probably the better overall show. But if you just want straightforward grabs, it was Rampage.
Yeah, that's how the like better wrestling show I think was Rampage, but better like show for this week probably Raw with the intro with Punk, Rollins, the New Day stuff, and then the finish. I think like that probably constitutes it as being one of the best shows of the week for sure.
Yeah, I enjoyed Dynamite though. They had a great crowd this week. Continental Classic, again, Continental Classic has just made all the shows better, which it did last year. So I don't think most of us should be surprised. But that's a good way to finish up with week 2 of the Continental Classic. Tournament is in full gear at this point. No pun intended. Starting last week in Collision, we got the rest of the matches from the Chicago show, which I was there for. Will Ospreay versus Juice Robinson. Very, very good match. That was a lot of fun to watch in person. Unfortunately, Juice Robinson sustained an injury in that match, so he is out of the Continental Classic moving forward. Commander will be taking his place. Sad for Juice, man, because he just got back. And man, what a match he had on Collision. Sucks. Some of the discourse around Commander has been interesting, though. I saw people like, well, it doesn't make sense. Why would you just put him in there? We're tired of seeing Commander lose. And Juice's spot in this tournament was clearly there for him to take losses for other guys that are higher up in the pecking order. So I thought it made sense in the same way last year where Daniel Garcia wanted to be in here to prove himself and use the spot to get in front of some more eyes. Of course, Commander would take this as, oh, it's a challenge. I want to show people how great I am, even in loss. And we got to see that immediately in the Rampage match.
Yeah, exactly what you're saying here, Phil. That shot, there's a spot or two in the Continental Classic every year in every tournament of a showcase spot. Like, these guys, we know Juice wasn't going to come and start beating Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher and these guys. He was going to come here and show his worth, show his character, give us some really great matches. And then we're going to see the winners and stuff, but we're going to come out of it thinking, damn, Juice had a great run in that. And so who could you have fill that spot that would make a lot of sense? Oh, this guy that's been doing showcases on your show for the last couple of years at this point, this guy that's dynamic, he's going to add a different extra element to every single contest that he has in this tournament. Put Commander there, and then just like you said, Phil, immediately we see what happens when you put him in there. As I thought last night watching this was my favorite Ricochet match that he's had in AEW. It felt like this is the Ricochet I've been waiting for. It's funny, we just talked last week, and I was like, hey, what's up with Ricochet, Phil? And then he has this match, and I'm like, oh, there he is. That's the guy that I know. Like, he was going 100. All of his moves looked insane. He's flying around, but also he's basing like insane crazily for Commander. He's taking crazy bumps and selling in his facial, but he looks like the most confident wrestler in the world. And that's what Ricochet is. When he's confident and feels like, even in here with one of the most insane luchadors in the world, I'm going to do crazier shit than him. That's the Ricochet that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I thought he's been a lot of fun in the Continental Classic so far. I thought the Claudio match was a lot of fun as well. But yeah, the Collision show, we got Kyle Fletcher versus Beast Mortos last Saturday as well. Very, very fun match. Man, Beast Mortos, bro, he so far has been incredible in this tournament. He's another one, has taken some big losses already, but those matches he's been in have been fantastic. We ended Collision with Kazuchika Okada versus Daniel Garcia. Ended up in a draw. I love so far is that Garcia is playing off of the stuff from last year where he wanted to prove himself coming into the tournament. This time around, coming in as champion, very much has the people behind him, and he's had spots in both his matches so far where he kind of uses the people and the acclaim behind him to hype him up and get him energized for the match. What a great story arc from year to year tournament for him. It's a little frustrating to me that he won the belt and immediately was like, oh, well, I'm going to jump in this tournament and win another belt. You could just defend your belt that you just won. And that's kind of an issue AEW's had all year where somebody has a belt, but then they immediately go for another belt. But I'll accept it because, the Continental Classic has been a big part of Daniel Garcia's rise over the last year or so. So it's not the biggest deal in the world. I did kind of grimace at it like, just do an open challenge or something.
That is my most frustrating thing that AEW does, is give someone a championship and then they immediately move into a different division with a different championship. And it's like, well, why are you doing that? Like, he could have we could have had him over here. But I do like that Daniel has one of the most storied stories of the tournament, and like how different his story is this year compared to last year. Last year was like a happy to be here. I'm in here with all these guys. I hope I have a good showing. This year, he's a champion. He has a different kind of prestige coming into this. He has different fanfare. He knows what the tournament entails. He knows what he has to do to win it. So he's going in it with a different strategy. It's really good. But yeah, that is frustrating of like, well, we're about to get 4 weeks of him not defending the championship.
Yeah, I have to assume that the tournament is going to set up his next opponent, though.
Yeah.
And I think once they made that announcement that the runner-up from the Gold League and the Blue League will have their match at the pay-per-view, I'm betting that's going to lead to his title match for the next pay-per-view. But yeah, from this week's Dynamite, Shelton Benjamin, man, good God. This guy, man, he has been exceptional since he came to AEW. This match with Kyle Fletcher was so good. Kyle Fletcher picks up the win with a dirty finish, of course, but Shelton has been incredible.
Yeah, I've said it on multiple podcasts since Shelton Benjamin has been in AEW. The chemistry this guy has with every single wrestler he gets in, no matter what size, no matter what part of the game they're in, no matter what it is, he's in the ring with them and you're about to get something exciting. They stalled a lot to start this match. I was like, okay, I understand what they're doing. They're playing the heel thing. Kyle's trying to get away from him. Shelton's blah, blah, blah. But when it got kicked into gear, I was like, damn, dude, Shelton, his veteran instincts and the way that he throws strikes and knows how to be in different positions at the same time are amazing. Kyle Fletcher is on that nothing is touching this guy. He feels like his shit don't sink. His confidence is through the roof. And I thought he played that role in this of like, we've seen him in dominant performances. We've seen him in these big matches with Ospreay and in these moments. But here he's just being like a little shit-eating heel that's running away from Shelton, trying to get him off of his guard. And the way that he won the match, kind of rolling Shelton up and getting the surprise, I thought it all played into the role of Kyle in this tournament, because we know he can go. We just saw him against the best wrestler in the world, but I want to see him in these other situations kind of expanding his character.
Yeah. Kyle needs that win more than Shelton at the moment, given where he's coming from at Full Gear, getting a big win over Ospreay.
He just beat Ospreay.
Yeah, it made sense for him to beat Shelton here, but I love that this protected Shelton as well. The backstage segment after was very good as well. MVP berating him, going, "What do? We hurt people. Then why ain't you hurt that dude? What are you doing?" And then afterwards, Shelton getting mad at the first person he saw and beating him up, bullying him. And I love that Bobby Lashley is initially watching it, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm mad too. Why not? I'm gonna just start beating him up too."
It's so funny because like the MVP and Bobby walk away, and then Shelton starts fighting the guy, and then like they come back and they're like, "Oh yeah, I guess we're fighting. Yeah, okay, if that's what's gonna inspire you, then I'm into." And they just start all ravishing fools. I'm like, that's exactly the vibe there, and I like that MVP. I thought that backstage segment helped with what they're going to do moving forward, because like this isn't just a happy to be here. I'm not just saying these words. I don't think you guys, I'm not just reading your accolades. Like when I say y'all are the baddest motherfuckers here, y'all are the baddest motherfuckers here, and you should show it. And I feel like you were joking around with Kyle, you were playing, you weren't being the person that I feel like you should be. And if you want to win this tournament, you got to get real.
Yeah, stop playing with your food. Like, put this guy away. What are you doing? Yeah, very, very good match. Claudio is another one, man. Claudio has been hooping this year, bro. So much fun to watch. Him versus Brody King was great. Love seeing Brody in more singles matches. Brody is one of those guys on this roster that every time they let him go out there and just wrestle, it's like, bro, why aren't they doing more with this guy? He's so good. And surprisingly, they're still doing this babyface turn with the House of Black guys, and it's working. They're getting a great reaction from the crowd. AEW fans really like these guys. Ending the show last week with the Darby stuff and Darby standing up to Claudio, leading into this match was also a good call. Really, really fun match. Claudio picks up the win here, though. Man, I kind of feel like, man, we've seen Claudio as world champion already, but that guy, he's been incredible this year.
Yeah, this match was like when they announced it, we all were like, yeah, but like I feel like Brody King might at the end of this be the breakout star of this tournament, just because of how he's worked every match. He's had some unique showings in this. He just feels mean and angry and brooding. And in this match specifically, like we've seen Brody toss around Darby and toss around these little guys, but like Claudio ain't a guy you're about to toss around. So they're just in there slugging each other, fighting. This is the type of, I want to see Claudio in more matches like this, matches that force him to fight. Cause like Claudio's so effortless and like a professional, and like all of his stuff's so clean. He goes in his matches and he just like, I'm going to tear these guys up. But this match made him get dirty. Brody's putting him in uncomfortable positions. They're brawling. He's throwing them around. He's power bombing them. Like this felt like Claudio's like, this wasn't like a dominance performance. This is like, I got to escape. I got to get out of here. This guy is on my ass. And initially, Phil, I was like, kind of with the fanfare that Brody's been getting, like, damn, Brody he probably should have won this match. But as soon as we talked about it on the post show with Denise, as soon as it counted to 3 and I felt the emotions and energy from the crowd, it's like, oh, this might have been the right choice with him. Like him losing might have gained more than him winning in this situation.
Yeah, this House of Black turn is really working out very well for them. I'm surprised how over these guys are getting. And I don't even know if it's getting. I think that people always have liked these guys.
Yeah.
And the more you see them on TV, man, people are just into them. It's really cool to see. The other thing I really liked from Dynamite was all of the Mina and Mariah stuff. Mariah doing her interview, and you could see you can see Mina in the background power walking to go get the champagne bottle, and then she immediately comes in there and is like, "Do it to my face."
Mm-hmm.
And so she's listening to everything she's saying, and Mariah's just kind of taken back, and she goes, "Make me work." Loved it.
Yeah, that's exciting. The building, the foundation that they're setting for that, the pay-per-view, the Mariah getting her revenge in this, and then they're gonna give us even more of Mina tonight against Emi Sakura, which I think is gonna be fucking on fire. I love that the Mariah has been so confident in her promo. The promo that she had on Collision last week was fire. I think that a lot of her work has been improving the last couple of weeks. I wasn't so hyped about her immediately after winning the championship, but I think she's brought it back.
Yeah, I think all the stuff she's done so far with Mina has been good. That will be the match coming up. Man, next week already. Winter is coming. It's already coming up. This year is going very quick now. It usually is like this once we get into Thanksgiving weekend. The month just flies by. But yeah, this month is gonna be over for you know what? 2025 will be here. Then also
Jesus.
did they change the rules to this battle royal again on us? Because I thought if you won the battle royal, then you get the match with Max. But instead, the last two people in the match are gonna get a one-on-one match next week at Winter's Coming, and that will decide his opponent for World's End. And I was looking around thinking, okay, am I wrong? Is this like the Mandela effect? But I thought usually the winner of the battle royal faces the winner of last year's
Yeah.
gauntlet.
Maybe I'm
wrong.
I'm thinking of Ricky Starks won the battle royal, then he wrestled Max, right? That was the thing. Like that's
Right.
how I remembered it. I think they added an extra step this year, unless they did it yet last year. But I remember you win the battle royal and then you get the shot at the ring.
Yeah. I can't say I'm the biggest fan of that. I get the reasoning to get the one-on-one match with O'Reilly, but this immediately feels pretty predictable. I think we all know that the match at the pay-per-view is probably going to be Adam Cole versus Max. This match will be fine, of course, at Winter's Coming. It gives Winter's Coming a marquee match, but I don't know that you needed to do this. You probably could have even had Adam Cole just win the match, and afterwards Kyle O'Reilly just shoved him or something, and they had like an altercation that set up the match. This whole changing the stipulation again just to set up this match was very strange, but it was a fun battle royal.
I felt like that whole thing, like, so we knew what this match is going to be. We know it's going to be Adam Cole and MJF. And then, like, even the people in the match, nobody believed that any of these people are going to win. That took away from the match. It's like either Adam Cole or Kyle O'Reilly are going to win this. And then when they announced they're going to wrestle each other, it's like, oh, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole are going to win this. And it, like, took away from the match for me, just because I'm like, none of these other fools in here have a chance. And, like, we already know where you're going. Just get there. I didn't feel like they keep using the Dynamite diamond ring. Like, it's not like they could do something and push some newer, different elements with it, and they're not. Like, I feel like Max is just gonna win and keep it again.
Yeah. Yeah, the pre-taped Max bits have been hit or miss as well. I did enjoy this week's where he's saying, why are you acting like I'm the bad guy here? You betrayed me. You're the bad guy here. Why are you now trying to act like, oh, I'm the good guy, guys? Look, I'm getting my revenge. You turned on me.
I would rather just miss MJF at this point. Like, seeing him out there in front of the crowd and seeing how important he is to the show, I'm like, he needs to be featured. But if he ain't here, like, you could put this shit online. Like, we don't need to be seeing this on Dynamite every week.
Yeah, I understand they want to give him a presence on the show and build to this pay-per-view. And you're in a tricky situation because he's filming the movie and everything. But yeah, as we talked about earlier, Rampage was a banger. We got a women's tag match and 3 Continental Classic matches. And all 3 of them were bangers. We talked about the Ricochet Commander match was a hot one. Ricochet looked incredible in this. Commander man, that Hurricane Rana spot that's been everywhere after he does this rope walk and then springboards into it. One of the cleanest looking Hurricane Ranas I've ever seen. Man, what a guy. He looked fantastic. What a fun match, man. Ricochet continues to do very heelish things, very small things in these matches that make me feel like, no, maybe you could just put him with those other guys with the suits on and he would fit right in.
Yeah, this reminded me of who Ricochet is. He did a lot of effortless things. Like that's how Ricochet's bit. It's like he could do all this stuff, but it's effortlessly how he does it. And so he'll do a bit, and then it's like the little grin or the way that he looks that really plays up the heel thing of like, yeah, I did it. So the fuck what? Like he just like knows that he's better at this shit than everybody, which plays into the Hurt Syndicate shit because like that's their deal. It's like they know they're world class. They know that at any moment they could do what you could do better than you, and they do what they do better than anybody in the world. So it's like his extra little motivation that he's had for that, very exciting. But this, like I said, this is my favorite Ricochet match in the AEW so far because this was the kind of spot food that I fucking love.
Yeah, love this match. We got Kazuchika Okada versus Mark Briscoe. Not a match that I thought I would see probably ever. If you told me those two names together, I would have been saying, what kind of E-Fed are you guys putting together over here? I guess. But yeah, this was really, really good. Okada, as always, in these kind of matches, reminds you who he is. That reversal into the Rainmaker at the end, man, so good. Mark Briscoe rose to the occasion. Mark Briscoe, as a TV wrestler, by the way, has been so fun to watch. Just the character stuff he does, the promo stuff. He's had great matches. It just still feels a bit bittersweet because when Jay was here, you could have been using those two guys more on your television show. And you had all this stuff with Warner Brothers Discovery possibly not wanting him on TV because he's not a conventional wrestler and all these other things. But yeah, he's been a lot of fun to watch for the past year as a television wrestler.
Yeah, he's been put into a lot of big matches and main events around TV, and he just gets it so much. The way that he could get a crowd to connect emotionally to the matches, there's not a lot of people doing it like him. He's a deep big match wrestler. Like Okada is like after 15 minutes is when you really get to Okada because he's a builder and like just the way that he works and structures his matches. He's a long-term match wrestler when you really get the full effect of him. This match was like two different styles kind of competing, but like we said, Mark has that TV presence which is different, and when Okada turns it up, there's not a lot of people like him. This is the type of shit that the Continental Classic is built off of, just like two of the best wrestlers in the world, got 20 minutes, nobody can interfere, go out there and do it.
Yeah. This is the stuff that this tournament was built on. First time matches, straightforward graps. Love this one. Main event. Well, sorry, this was not the main event. But Dan Garcia, Beast Mortos, also very fun. Like I said, Beast Mortos has been great so far in this tournament. Starting the match, really beating down on Garcia early on, hitting him very hard, hitting him with the big spots, but Garcia, with the help of the crowd, comes back, picks up the big W, stands on a barricade, and soaks it in with the crowd afterwards. Loved it.
Stands on the barricade, doesn't hit the dance. Daniel Garcia, listen, buddy. I hope you're listening to this. Hit the fucking dance, Daniel Garcia. I don't know what. I understand you're moving on. You're a professional wrestler. You're all this guy. Your fans want you to hit the goddamn dance, Daniel Garcia. I don't know why you're doing this to us. I know what you feel like. Oh, that's not part of your character. You're a serious wrestler. We know. We believe you. But the dance, it's there. It enhances. It helps. It does not hurt your character at all. I hope you're watching this, Daniel Garcia. Hit the fucking dance.
This reminds me, at the height of all of the Jericho stuff, and he was doing the dance, and I was at a live show, and this guy in the crowd just was screaming at him, Garcia, do the dance. It's so Garcia, do the dance.
Okay, so I mean, hearing stories like that, now I probably understand why he don't want to hit the dance.
Yeah. We got 3 matches coming up tonight on Collision. I will be on a Collision post show with Iridian and I believe SP3. But we got Darby versus Commander tonight. Kyle Fletcher taking on Kazuchika Okada.
Woo!
And Mark Briscoe in action again against Daniel Garcia. The next week, winter is coming. We've got Claudio Castagnoli taking on Will Ospreay and Brody King taking on Ricochet.
Claudio and Ospreay. I can't wait to see what them fools do together. Like Ospreay has been doing this dark side type killer type thing, and Claudio is Claudio, one of the best bass in the world. So exciting. And Ricochet and the guy that I said could be the breakout star of this, Brody King, man. This tournament, yes. Thank you. Love it.
Yeah. So far, Kyle Fletcher is leading the Blue League with 6 points. Right behind him, Dan Garcia has 4. Kazuchika Okada as well, tied with 4 points. Shelton Benjamin trailing behind him with 3. In the Gold League, Claudio Castagnoli is up in the lead with 6 points to lead all competitors. Will Ospreay has 3 points. Brody King and Ricochet also have 3. Darby and Commander lagging behind with 0. I kind of feel like Darby's going to have this Naito like run in this tournament where he starts slow and starts picking up wins towards the end.
Yep.
I think this is kind of the way to kind of build him up continuously as an underdog. So by the end of this tournament, you're going to be ready to heat him up. And I do think this is leading to him eventually challenging Mox for the World Championship.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to use, like, I don't think he's going to win this tournament, but exactly what you're describing of having a strong run is going to build him for the world title, which was what he should be winning. So I feel like this is going to be good for him either way. And then you get all these crazy and exciting matches against him in the tournament. He's probably going to get his first win tonight, right? He's wrestling Commander, so that's going to get it kicked off. But I feel like he is going to have that slow build up. In the end, Darby almost does it run.
Very interested to see how this match goes tonight. Those differences in style of Commander's lucha style against Darby, just throwing his whole body into moves at you. That should be a fun one tonight. But Continental Classic is turning out to be one of my favorite tournaments of the year. I know it's only the second year, but last year's was so good. And so far, man, the matches in this thing this year have been fantastic.
I think it came at the exact perfect time. What I've been talking about of AEW, the ending and beginning of the year where they're going to try to move into, you got to get back to basics in some of this. And I feel like the Continental Classic is like the core of what AEW represents. It's 2 wrestlers in there. You can't interfere. They just got to have a great match and who's better. And like, that's what you're going to need more of moving forward. So the Continental Classic just hits at the exact perfect time, just showing what AEW is all about.
Yeah. Looking forward to tonight. Post show vibes with the Collision folks. Gonna get into our last super chats and humper chats, and we are going to get up out of here.
Yep. Of course, appreciate everybody for submitting super and humper chats today and participating. Y'all are dope. Margie Love says Naomi deserves better. She's still hella over too.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that her continuously being put in positions is a good sign, but we still want to see her get some wins. We still want to see her be champion one day. Like, I think there's so much more that she can give.
Yeah, I assumed this was leading to her and Bayley challenging for the tag titles. But now that Jade is gone, it's looking like Bianca's probably going to vacate those belts now. So I'm not sure what to make of that.
Those tag team championships just can't catch a break. They always end up in positions like this. It's weird. Hassan Batla says, same person who attacked Jade, Street Profits, Jay, and Eddie Thorpe.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that the Eddie Thorpe one is former North American Championship, if I had to guess. It's former North American champion. Sorry, not the belt. The belt did not become sentient and attack Eddie Thorpe. The guy that held it last probably attacked him.
The belt's waiting behind a corner, and you just see its little strap coming and just trip somebody. This belt has a mind of its own. Hey, what's over there says, I was convinced that at one point it was going to be FTR versus the Briscoes versus the Bucks for all the tag gold. Should be Mark and Jay, man. Yeah, when I'm thinking of tag divisions and like the Briscoes could have potentially been sitting as top of that, it's like makes me sad.
Yeah, very bittersweet seeing how great Mark Briscoe is doing right now without Jay, but. What an inspirational story, and Mark proving his worth as a television wrestler, and what a beacon of positivity. He's never down. He's always upbeat. Every time he's asked about the Jay stuff, he's never like down on any of this situation. He's never acting like any of it is unfair. He's just like, this is the cards we're dealt, and we got to move forward.
Legend. Love Mark Briscoe. Sending out all the love to him continuously. What a great guy. And then, hey, what's over there says, also shout out Brody King for the Wrestle Dynasty match against David Finlay.
Oh, that's right. That was announced. Brody King versus David Finlay coming up. That Wrestle Dynasty card is quickly coming together. A lot of exciting matches coming together for that week, Wrestle Kingdom week. Very much excited for Wrestle Kingdom, but that show is looking like it's going to be a lot of fun.
And like you said, Phil, time is moving hella fast. Like it felt like, damn, Wrestle Kingdom's this far away. That shit's in a few weeks at this point.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Damn, dude, like time is crazy. We still got a big AEW show to end out the year, and then we're getting into that to kick off the year with Kenny Omega's on the card. Like, brother, I'm ready.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering, because I've been saying all this time, I think we could see Kenny before the end of the year. I'm wondering, does Kenny pull up to a Dynamite before Wrestle Dynasty? I hope he does.
I want to see him. I want him to show up tonight, but I'm thinking, I would think so, right? Before then, like, I mean, they're not, I wouldn't figure them announcing him a match on Wrestle or World's End before, because they probably would have already done it, but like, got to have some kind of presence if he's going to be, you got to advertise that match on your TV, right? And how do you advertise him returning to Wrestle Dynasty is having him on TV here on AEW, right? Potentially. That's all of our super chats. Y'all are cool. Appreciate y'all. Super chats and humper chats. You can submit super chats anytime. We'll read them on air. Humper chats or humperchats.com. We get more of a cut. Phil possibly is gone. Grapsody. This has been Grapsody. Look, you guys got the show. We said everything. Phil got through most of the show. Grateful for that. I think we got to all the topics. Appreciate everybody being here. There's a lot of y'all here supporting during the day. But yeah, this has been Philip Lindsey, Righteous Reg, Grapsody podcast. I'm getting out of here because I'm tired of technical difficulties. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Are amazing. Y'all are great. And thank you.